This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Holding in the intestines of pot-bellied men. I did not know that's what Liz Truss did before she was a prime minister. I thought she was a PM. My bad. No longer prime minister. Well, I guess still prime minister until an election is held at the end of the month. Liz Truss did not outlast the lettuce. The lettuce is going to give you props here in a little bit. We'll get cheers from the lettuce. Devil's lettuce, don't mind if I do. Where's my lighter? There it is. From his news tonight. It's not going to take us 2 hours to get to the news. I like how RB goes on YouTube. It's like, amazing, it's a 5-hour show. I'm like, dude, there's like 2.5 hours of just complete nonsense. Probably 2 good hours of news. I got a few good pieces out of last night's show. Twitch weed. You know I'm not high enough for this shit. Of course, you're going to hear from the Prime Minister of Britain, who will be stepping down in a few weeks. Announced her resignation earlier today. This comes less than 24 hours after she said, "I'm a fighter, not a quitter." She is now quitting. So we're going to cover that. Of course, we're going to check in with the lettuce. We got to check in with the lettuce. I gotta apologize. I said I assumed she would make it the week, but not the month. Boy, was I wrong. She didn't even make it another day. We're gonna look at the race to replace her. Familiar face is in the lead. His name is Boris Johnson. You might remember him as the Prime Minister from 2 months ago. Man. Early voting. Off to a great start here in the U.S. However, one Mr. Bernie Sanders thinks the Democrats have dropped the fucking ball and is going on an all-out blitz. Tried to save the midterms for the Democrats. Thank you, Bernie Sanders. Thank you so much. Justice Amy Coney Barrett blocks a challenge to Biden's student loan forgiveness. Yeah, you weren't expecting me to say that, were you? Senator Elizabeth Warren is upset over an appeals court ruling over a watchdog group. Watchdog group that looks over student loan programs. The complete nonsense was a lot of fun. Okay, if you had fun, that's cool. I'm totally down with it. And like, some people gave me some critiques on some feedback on what happened last night. And I had to let her know, like, you didn't know that there was a Discord chat that went with that there was a phone call from last week that went with that. So if it sounds like I'm just 100% exacerbated and just ready to call the dude a dumb fuck right off the bat, that's the reason why. A very long Discord conversation. Here's your meme for the day. Me on my way to work. I am a fighter, not a quitter. During the workplace, I am resigning. Pretty much. Well, thank you, clinically. I tend to get rather animated, heated. What's more adjectives I can throw? And It turns a lot of people off. I know I'm not for everybody. I'm only going to appeal to 30, maybe 40% of the audience tops anytime I go do stand-up. So it's not like I'm not self-aware about things. I think so. I think I gave him some fantastic advice. I'm flabbergasted. And this is the thing, is like, you know, when I was a young punk kid and I was trying to talk to the elders, you know, they were always like, oh, you don't know it all. You got to do this, 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 and this. And, you know, I thought I was right. Monsieur Balls, what you don't know is that he has been back in the Discord to come for more abuse. Posted a Breitbart opinion piece about how Stacey Abrams isn't for the people. It's amazing because, like, the quote that was included in the piece literally didn't say what he interpreted it to say. And, like, I'm just like... So yeah, and like I chimed in, was like, don't ever post Breitbart in here. And I hadn't noticed, I think Phoebe was like, hey dude, Breitbart is not a reputable source, long before I said that. So thank you, Phoebe. You are correct. Well, and like we've gone through this before on the show. Like sometimes it's not even stupidity. Like, hey, he might have some talent. He might be a bright kid, but he has convinced himself of some dumb shit. Because, like, if you're from a conservative family and you're in Wisconsin, which is a hotbed of these radical nut jobs, these anti-public school, tend to be very religious. There is a virulent strain of this right-wing nonsense in Wisconsin. And if you have been raised in that, all of your friends believe a certain way and consume Steven Crowder, and yeah, people still go to Breitbart. Honestly, Dustin, honestly. Although clinically, good evening, Warlord RB, Stream Elements. Thank you for telling me that the Stream Elements bot is running on YouTube. Glad to know. I don't know what I do with that information, but thank you. Also, apologies to Facebook. For some reason, I don't know if I pissed off the Facebook gods or something, but we have not been streaming. UKify Justice Troll Patrol is proceed. We do the news, man. We do the news. This is the big news in the world. So not only is it your meme of the day, it's the first story we're gonna do. But we got other stories as well. I've got interesting shit for you, because of course I do. That's what we do here on this show. I'm going to play you some video of Kanye West apologizing for his crazy behavior, apparently. He was on with Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan apparently been on a roll of, like, holding idiots' feet to the fire. Who would have thunk it? Steph Curry, one of the best basketball players currently in the NBA. Quite possibly the best. I don't know. One of you sporty ball people can tell me that. Maybe the best shooter, as I understand it. Steph Curry took the microphone, took some time during, I believe it's a playoff game. I don't know about sporty ball. I believe it was before a high-profile playoff game on Brittany Griner's birthday to call for her release from a Russian prison. So, mad props to Steph Curry. We're gonna keep talking about sports tonight. We're gonna talk about old Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace is a NASCAR driver. You may remember him from a incident a couple of years ago where a noose was found in a NASCAR garage. It turned out to just be a pull handle fashioned as a noose. I saw the picture. It looked like a noose. Pull handle noose. I mean, like, I guess the knot would be the same. I'm not a knot aficionado. I guess you would use the same kind of knot for both. So, or would you? I don't fucking know. I don't know. But the Daily Wire is obsessed with Bubba Wallace. I haven't checked today, but I'd almost guarantee they have posted again about him. He was in a wreck over the weekend, and then kind of got into a scuffle with another driver afterwards. Now, that's NASCAR. Anybody that's watched fucking NASCAR. Now, in the last 10, 15 years, they really tried to clean things up and crack down on shit like that, but that's what's driven away the old fans. I mean, the old adage used to be rubbing is racing. Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt, and Dale Earnhardt intentionally wrecked Terry Labonte to win. Oh. Brad Keselowski intentionally wrecked Carl Edwards at Talladega. Like I could go on and on and on and on. This is just a thing in NASCAR, but the Daily Wire specifically is honing in on it. So I wonder, what about Bubba Wallace would make the Daily Wire, who doesn't cover sports as far as I know, and this sports story doesn't really have any cultural significance, I would think. What about Bubba Wallace would make the Daily Wire keep posting about this incessantly? He not even full black, he just half black. That's you only have to be half black to set him off. Quivering Quarterling, welcome. Thank you for being here. I was not looking at the chat just a second ago. As I just explained, I love it. I love it when people think I don't know what I was talking about. Like, did you say that before I went on to talk about Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt, Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski? It's been a long time since I've watched some racing, but I'm an OG fan. I can play you some video. This is NASCAR. That's what it is. Rubbing is racing. Go back and look at some Alan Kowicki. Well, hey, I haven't seen the video. So, I don't watch the video until I get on this show and you guys see me live react to it. But intentionally wrecking somebody and trying to get away with it has been part of NASCAR since NASCAR has been a thing. Well, you seriously have strong opinions on this. Okay. Are you a NASCAR fan? Do you watch every week? Otherwise, I would find it incredibly weird that you would have such strong opinions on this. Mandy, good evening. Why did Liz Truss do it? Pressure. And that's what I was thinking clinically. It would tighten on your hand if you use that kind of a knot. We'll see what happened. And it could be there is room for error here. It could be that he lost control of his car. And idiots are losing their minds over nothing because they're racist assholes. But as I said, I grew up in a family that watched NASCAR. I've been to 7 NASCAR races myself. Can provide you with specific instances of other drivers wrecking drivers. So I don't know why this one instance has got people so upset. Do you see what I'm talking about? Because it'll send you to the pit, right? I don't even know. It's one of the things the cops use. Like, we saw a cop wreck a pregnant woman by sideswiping her. I'm sorry, there's a spider in your living room. There's a spider web on my screen. I mean, the internal investigation ruled that it was not a noose, that it was a garage puller. I guarantee you, Quivering, I can find just as egregious wrecks throughout the history of NASCAR. NASCAR was incredibly, what's the word I'm looking for? It was a rough sport. I was on meth when I went to the Brickyard 400. So, I was on coke when I went to the Food City 500. I mean, like, fucking most people tune in for the wrecks anyway. That's literally why people watch the shit. And then assholes are all like, "Oh, I can't believe the black guy wrecked somebody," and think their racism isn't showing. It's wild. Yeah, I would assume it was sending them to the pit. Like chariot racing in ancient Rome. Yeah, those motherfuckers had like shit on their wheels to try to take the other chariots out. If you ask me, NASCAR should be more like Twisted Metal. Mox, good evening. Okay, so when we went to Talladega, we took something like 300 Lortabs. And when I say we, it was like a group of like 12 of us. So this isn't outlandish. It's like 100 cases of beer and I don't even remember how many ounces. 5, 6, 7 ounces. You know, for like fucking 3 or 4 days camping out at Talladega. So we were right next to the dirt track. And there was a chain link fence. So we just all hopped the fence and went over to the dirt track and went through the pit and didn't have to pay. Well, I guess this would have been like Friday evening or something. We'd been there since like Thursday afternoon. Completely fucked up. I jump over the fence and I krill my ankle. I mean, insane. And I keep walking and I look at everybody. I'm like, I don't feel it right now, but that's going to hurt in the morning. And by God, did it. Apparently, I was really wild on that trip. I might have fucked some girl I found somewhere on the track. She was like flashing her titties, and like I thought she was cute, and like we just hit it off, and I took her back to the because Buddy brought a camper, and I just fucked her out on his bed. And he refused to sleep in the bed the rest of the weekend. He slept with my brother. I came in the camper, and they were like hooked up together. It was so cute. And that was the weekend that Brad Keselowski sent Carl Edwards up into the fucking God. Why am I drawing a blank tonight? The fence. It like injured 10 fans, 12 fans, or some shit like that. It was a big deal. I was just going over what we were talking about on the show. Somebody in the YouTube chat got me completely off track. Oh shit. Ted Cruz doxed a trans teacher. Because of course he did. There's an outrage. I can't tell. I don't know where this happened at, but there was a high school. They commissioned a student to paint a mural on the wall, and boy, have parents lost their goddamn minds over a fucking mural. Go to my YouTube channel and look at the story from like 2 weeks ago of I tiled that bigot goes to a school board meeting or some shit like that. It is a right-wing paid activist. She said she dressed up like the drag queen, and the school board was outraged. They weren't. They didn't say anything to her because she was completely fucking clothed. She just got up there and made herself a fucking victim. It was an after-school drag performance where one dude had skin-colored leggings on under a leotard. And I shit you not, every single person that has commented on my YouTube has said that his cheeks were hanging out. And said it that way. So I assume some right-wing propaganda site has said it that way. Steven Crowder or Daily Wire, whoever sent them my way. By the way, that's one of my most viewed videos on YouTube. Thanks, guys. It is also my absolute most downvoted video. It is ratioed all to fuck, as the kids say, and I'm talking like 99% downvotes. It's like 17 people upvoted that shit. You know, my normal fans that are watching my shit, and a couple people that, you know, may have seen it and appreciated that I stood up for the LGBTQ community, to like 1,500 downvotes. I'm not joking. That's a ratio. And like, it's a coordinated effort. Because they're all saying like, haha, you're getting ratioed. Look at these numbers. So I've gotten shared out by some libs of TikTok or offshoot like that. Not necessarily libs of TikTok. I've gotten shared out by some site that's doing the same thing, and they're telling them to go and basically saying what to say in my chat. Oh. And you know what? I hadn't seen, I think it was John Oliver, maybe? Or maybe it was Trevor Noah. I don't know. I'd watched it. I caught it on YouTube. And they played the students for, like, you know, we play the parents acting stupid at school board meetings. They played the students at the school board meetings, just like a supercut of 5 or 6 of them, just letting the parents have it. Saying, I have never felt threatened by a trans person in the bathroom with me. What you're doing is insane. Another one that's really going to piss you off is a school in North Carolina has canceled all of the volleyball games after, I think it's the school that had an injured player from another school's player that was trans. I'm sure it was just like the UFC thing or the MMA thing where, you know, Joe Rogan said Fallon Fox broke the other fighter's face, but no, what it really was an orbital bone fracture, which is like one of the most common injuries in UFC. It's like, it's all about how you frame this shit. So I'm assuming it's, you know, she got a ball spiked and broke her nose, but now they're concerned about injuries and they've canceled all the games against that other team. The bigotry knows no bounds. But I mean, at least Kanye West is going to apologize. You're going to hear that. We're going to check in with the Waukesha. I always say it wrong. Waukesha. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. Waukesha? They'll say it during the trial. We're going to check in. This is a wild trial. Darrell Brooks, the man who drove his SUV into the Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin, is representing himself. And after watching some of this last night, because that's what I'll sit here and do work and I'll have YouTube shit on in the background, and I had his fucking trial on in the background, and that's why I'm going to play you guys some of it today. I'm going to play you what happened today that I haven't seen. I don't know that he was fit to stand trial. I honestly don't know that he was fit to stand trial. This may be a travesty of justice. But he's a sovereign citizen. He believes some wild fucking bullshit. He doesn't even believe the state has the right to have him there. He is defending himself and coming up with some wild fucking arguments. Apparently the prosecution had to stand up for the judge because he was being so belligerent earlier today. Judge ruled that Trump conspired to commit fraud. The DOJ believes they have enough evidence to convict Trump on obstruction charges. Lindsey Graham has been ordered to testify in the Georgia election probe. We have new emails from former Senator Kelly Loeffler with Brad Raffensperger. Shows how she was being lobbied to participate in January 6th. Apparently, several agencies in Arizona are really pissed off that people are talking about this 2000 Mules movie. And they really want to set the record straight, so of course I'm going to give them the opportunity to do so. Speaking of Arizona, a GOP-backed candidate in Arizona who is on the record saying he wanted to protect children. Wait for it. Was arrested for masturbating near a school. Now, he could have just needed to whip it out and didn't realize the school was there. As somebody who's done a lot of public shit, you know, it's possible. He might have not been yanking it to the kids. I'll give that a slight possibility, but, you know, otherwise I'm going to think he's a creep. Because of course he is. Got a clip from the Oklahoma governor's debate where the Republican and the moderator did not believe the Democrat when it came to crime statistics. One of the things that I point out constantly, right-wingers think they can win an argument just by saying Chicago. Illinois doesn't have that high of a violent crime rate. Chicago isn't even in the top 20 in the country for homicides. When you look at violent crime rates by state, there's a pattern. And it's red states. Plus so much more. All that tonight on the Troll Patrol. Girl of the Gray. Waukesha. Waukesha. Is that better? Did I say it right, RB? The microphones. Oh my god. Waukesha. Waukesha. Thank you, Disposable Thumb. Oh my god, it does look. Oh my god, it does look. Oh, fucking shit.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Why'd you guys have to point that out to me? Now I can't unsee it. Jesus. And then, like, I just ran down all that news. Oh, shit. I don't even have a browser up. Look at Modest Mouse for a second. Adam Rainstop. Shake hands with beef. Oh, no. You're shaking like a leaf. Okay, that's completely different. I might be able to hook you up with a blanket. I ain't got no pills. Thought he said shake hands with beef. Totally into it. Oh, shit. I was going to make a joke and then shake hand with beef. And now I'm... Anyway. The UK Prime Minister... It's very different. It's very different.
Come on, man.
Oh, yeah, Mox. Block them. Block them. I mean, they're gonna... Okay, so... Is it gonna be one of those nights where I'm never gonna be able to get to the news? Finding beef. So I feel I'm turned off by mass text messages, and I think that a lot of people, block them, make them go to spam, whatever, emails, but also campaigns do it because it works. I think it's diminishing returns, and I think you need to take that into account. Act Blue was a mistake. I think I finally remembered to turn that $1 donation every month off. They got like years of that from me. Corned beef? I don't know what the qualifications for shaking hands with beef are. We would need to refer to Les Claypool on that one. And that's really the only lyrics I know from that song. If you were to tell me to sing it, all I could do is like, shake hands with beef. That's all. Don't. It's just tea. It's just tea. I have no clue what any of the other lyrics are. Shake hands with beef. Pork chop's a little dirty. Okay. So news. UK has now had their shortest serving prime minister. Liz Truss announced her resignation earlier today. I must admit that I was wrong. I thought she would at least last the week, because we had this talk with the lettuce. I was like, if the lettuce can last the week, I think she can outlast the lettuce. But if the lettuce doesn't last the week, then the lettuce won. The lettuce won.
I am a fighter and not a quitter. I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected. I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party.
I've got the list here. 45p tax cut, gone. Corporation tax cut, gone. 20p tax cut, gone. Her supposed best friend, the former Chancellor, he's gone as well. They're all gone. So why is she still here?
Mr. Speaker, I am a fighter and not a quitter.
I tell you, in the last couple of minutes, I've been told that Suella Braverman has resigned as Home Secretary.
She says, I have concerns about the direction of this government.
Just the latest in a long series of problems for the Prime Minister. Grant Shapps, who she sacked when she came into office in Downing Street just over a month ago, is the new Home Secretary.
It's all going on here this afternoon. Labour have brought about a debate on fracking in which the government is whipping its MPs to vote against the Labour motion, effectively voting in favour of potential.
Okay, Warlord, please tell me why part of the Conservative Party was against fracking. Like, the Republicans here vote in lockstep and have a good chunk of Democrats voting with them. Why is the Conservative Party against Liz Truss on this fracking issue?
Actually allowing fracking. Now, it was made very, very clear by Tory whips earlier today that this was being treated as a confidence vote in the government.
Oh, the noes have it. The noes have it.
I would urge you to launch an investigation into the scenes outside the entrance to the No lobby earlier. I saw members being physically manhandled into another lobby.
So you're saying that there are conservatives in your country that actually represent their constituency, that serve a rural area, and because that rural area would be the area where the fracking is done, and the people are like, I don't want my water to catch fire. I don't want earthquakes daily. That the Conservative Party is actually representing the will of the people they represent. This is blowing my mind. So that is the reason why. So the haughty-taughty conservatives that live in more urban areas, that are the pro-business minded conservatives, they were for the fracking because it wasn't going to affect them. Their water wasn't going to catch fire. But the ones out on the countryside that would have been affected by this, they actually represented their people and voted against it. Beautiful. And for those of you who are unaware, the whips in the Conservative Party actually, like, they're saying threatened, bullied members of Parliament to vote for the fracking ban, despite the fact that they wanted to represent their constituencies. So that's. Do we know if the whips are still in their posts, Warlord? Did they resign? There was talk that the whips left. They left the chamber in protest. They did not resign. There was talk that they might have resigned. Liz Truss ran after them, and all of them missed the vote. It was wild. So that's what we're in the middle of The Guardian summarizing just one day. This is the day that brought Liz Truss down.
And being bullied.
I'm livid. I really shouldn't say this, but I hope all those people that put Liz Truss in number 10, I hope it was worth it, because the damage they have done to our party is extraordinary.
We don't have a government. You might as well have. I mean, the lettuce might as well be running the country.
We've got to get rid of her, haven't we?
Please.
I'm not sure it could get any worse.
Can't keep up with it for 1 minute. I'll be surprised if they survive the day, to be quite honest.
Now, Liz Truss is meeting the most senior Conservative backbencher, Sir Graham Brady, as I speak to you. He is the chair of the influential 1922 committee, the group of MPs who run leadership elections for...
Repent, believe, Jesus died for you.
For the party.
And after those crisis talks, I now understand there will be a statement at 1:30. This lunchtime looks like we may get a big development in the future of Liz Truss.
It's really hard to keep track of time because so much has been happening in each kind of 24-hour segment. Here she comes, and Liz Truss, her husband, alongside her. Let's listen in.
We set out a vision for a low-tax, high-growth economy that would take advantage of the freedoms of Brexit. I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I will remain as Prime Minister until a successor has been chosen. Thank you.
So the vote is actually happening, you said next week, Warlord? It's like 8 days away, 9 days away? Apparently Warlord wants me to bring up this spreadsheet. I'll do that, but I actually have a different piece. Who could replace Liz Truss? I got you some Shep Smith talking about what your spreadsheet was talking about.
Place the British Prime Minister Liz Truss, Boris Johnson. According to a new YouGov poll, the majority of Conservative Party members say the former Prime Minister would be a good replacement for Liz Truss. In fact, 32% of Tory members put Boris Johnson at the top of their list, followed by the former Finance Minister Rishi Sunak. Back in July, Prime Minister Johnson resigned after a series of scandals and an avalanche of resignations inside his government. The poll comes as Prime Minister Liz Truss battles to save her job. She's facing growing calls to resign.
Oh, she has. Old news, Shep. Old news, Shep. This Warlord sent me this. Is this spreadsheet like a big thing? Does this always happen in Britain when you guys are electing a prime minister? Well, I guess it would be in modern times, wouldn't it? This online spreadsheet of who's backing who, keeping a tally of who's in the lead. Now it does look like Rishi Sunak can mount a challenge to Boris there based on the spreadsheet. Sunak coming in at just over 40%. However, Boris sitting pretty at 52%, 53%. Shit. Boris is still under investigation. Hey, we've got plenty of politicians that are under investigation here in the United States. That's totally cool. Might put some money on Bojo. Oh my god. Is there a possibility, any possibility, Warlord, that the public can pressure the party into calling a general election before 2025? You are stuck with conservatives until 2025 is what you're saying. And they're just going to keep passing the baton back and forth between their different losers and falling flat on their face. Because they do have the ability to call for a snap general election. But it's up to the conservatives to do it. What's your Labor Party looking like right now? Who are they coalescing behind? For Jeremy Corbyn was slandered by a faction inside of the party, kind of like the Blue Dogs inside of the Democrats. I want to check in on the lettuce. This is still the live shot. Lettuce thanks you. The vote is on Monday. You guys are putting on a show. Did you like RB? Did you see Trump and did you guys decide hold our I can't even do a voice. 1800 when it, oh shit, there's a lettuce speech. Can you get me timestamp on that? Clock is 1800. Clock isn't in that time format. Oh, there it is. There, yeah, you're right.
But truly.
What? Fuck.
To get me out.
It's a very long stream, so getting to the exact time is kind of hard here. It's 2 minutes before. 2 minutes before. Don't tell me how to scrub. Hold my L. Thank you, Joey. Oh my God. Bibi Netanyahu, next Prime Minister of the UK. I've seen less surprising shit. Girl of the Gray.
You live in sexual anarchy.
I don't even know what the lettuce is jamming out to there. There's some kind of techno backbeat shit. Oh, did you recognize the artist? Clinically, you are a connoisseur of music. That's not Gotti though, is it? The artist? That's a rapper. I think. I don't know. I'm not familiar enough. Oh, another conversation going on. We're gonna if you're just joining us right now, we just did the news of Liz Truss resigning. We went back in time on the live feed. We're gonna listen to the lettuce give us a speech here in less than a minute. The lettuce giving its speech after having outlasted Liz Truss as Prime Minister. Lettuce for PM. You guys would vote for that, wouldn't you? I mean, it's better than Boris, I would think.
I came into office at a time of great economic instability. But after an unbelievable campaign, I am thrilled to have been crowned victorious in these charred times. However, we must remain cautious. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Costs. Many people might think I am a little green, but truly, I believe that I could be this country's little gem. I want to commend my opponent. Her heart was in it, but her head was not. We truly had never seen anything like her before, and I wish her luck with the remainder of her time in office. Now, we must move on to the leadership battle, which I am sure will be an arguable uphill battle for control. And I vow to each and every one of you that I'll be crest to impress. Thank you for rooting for me. This is beginning. Let us rejoice. I came into office at a time of great...
repeat it for a little bit. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. Lettuce puns, of course. Of course. What else would there be besides lettuce puns? Move over to the United States politics.
We find Ed O'Keefe, our friend. He's in Pennsylvania. He's in Philadelphia, it looks like, the beautiful Independence Hall.
Lenny, good evening.
And you've been talking to some of the power brokers in the city, like Congressman Brendan Boyle. What are you learning?
That's right, Bob. Good to see you. Look, the president has arrived. He's on his way to a fundraiser just a few blocks.
Warlord, you can't call American news boring. This week alone, we had a woman attack the cops with bees. We had a cop tape a bag of milk to another dude's door. Radioactive creek in front of a school. Anything but boring. Come on. Oh, someone commented on the YouTube video of the woman who attacked the cop with bees. As I explained earlier, I'm getting hardcore, brigaded by bigots on my video about the woman going to the school board meeting. And one of the comments I've gotten quite frequently on that video about the woman going to the school board meeting is that she's my hero, or this woman is my hero, or some form of that. Well, in the midst of 10 separate comments on that video about the bigot at the school board, somebody commented, "She's my hero," on the video of the woman using the bees to attack the cops. And I didn't actually look at the video they were commenting on, and boy, did I dress her down and tell her that if this woman is a hero to you, because I've responded to every single person that has tried to troll my video about the school board. That woman, I was like, if this woman is a hero to you, that speaks volumes about your character. Quivering Quartering came back. Really? The U.S. is the world's Florida. Yes, that's true. They attacked with bees. We did. Don't Google it. Watch my video from last night. I did an amazing my thumbnail game is on point, guys. Look at that shit. Apparently she was a beekeeper and they were coming to evict her, and she had like boxes and boxes of... Unfortunately, there's no video. The police released pictures. We had some still pictures we got to look at. And the funniest thing about it... Okay, I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it. The call letters of the news station were so apropos. Well, I would assume they've got body camera footage. That's what we need. We need body camera footage. If I was that woman's neighbor, I would have been filming her. Like, this is a sight to witness. No, it was WBZ. Like, I just stopped. Like, WBZ. That's where this is coming from.
Blocks away, near what they call the largest Wawa in the world. Who knew such a thing would be tracked? He's here for a closed-door fundraiser with John Fetterman, the Democratic Senate candidate, who appeared with him.
Wawas are only in the Northeast, aren't they?
Official event. Official because it was basically just the president and elected officials over in Pittsburgh at the side of that bridge that had collapsed in late January, right as the infrastructure bill was being passed and touted by the president. Notably, Fetterman showed up today in a tie. Remember, he's been the candidate that is known for campaigning in a hoodie and shorts, and today...
Is Hollywood Hulk Hogan, is this guy going to be like my... the dude that's always sending Sam Cedar the IMs and and calling them all kinds of names and shit? I'm down for it. I like... That's cool with me. I feel like I've reached a certain level of notoriety to have somebody that's going to come in like every stream and do that to me. That's fucking cool. Thank you for making that possible, guys. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to catch the Twitch commercials here. So we're not Biden. He went to Pennsylvania, but he's not campaigning as hard as goddamn Bernie. We're gonna talk about that when we come back from the other side of the break. Elizabeth Warren is upset with a judge's ruling regarding a watchdog group that oversees student loans. Justice Amy Coney Barrett had a surprising ruling. Gonna make you say, "Huh? Well, I wasn't expecting that." Especially given all I know about her, it is shocking. Shocking. I've got clip from the Oklahoma governor's debate that is going to blow you away. The moderator and the Republican both challenged facts. Because GOP talking points are so good and so pervasive, the moderator and the Republican were just like, that can't be true. And it's absolutely true. A GOP candidate in Arizona who claimed he was protecting children was caught masturbating outside of a school. It come as no shock to anyone. We're going to talk about the Arizona GOP and their embrace of the 2000 Mules movie and why it's infuriating to law enforcement and election officials. New texts have been released in Georgia between Kelly Loeffler and George Raffensperger. Give us a little more insight into January 6th. Lindsey Graham from South Carolina has been ordered to testify in the Georgia election probe. DOJ feels they have enough to charge Trump with obstruction. A judge ruled that Trump conspired to commit fraud. Ooh, Ooh, I've got some fun video of Mike Pence being asked if he would vote for Donald Trump. We're going to check in on the Waukesha. I think I said it right that time. Waukesha Christmas Parade killer. This trial is wild. I seriously watched maybe an hour, hour and a half. Had it on in the background last night as I was doing other things. It just like, wow. So I'm going to play you a couple of clips of what happened today. I'll give you a little rundown of some of the shit that's gone on already. It feels kind of exploitative to do that. That's why I haven't touched on this story yet. But also, I don't know that the man is actually fit to stand trial. I want to get some other opinions on that. I don't know. And unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about schools and bullshit. Some parents are outraged over a mule. I've got 2,000 mules on the brain. Over a mural that a student painted on the wall. Ted Cruz doxed a preschool teacher. And we're going to look into the Daily Wire's weird obsession with NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace. Because, like I'm telling you, there's something to it. All that and more on the other side of the break here on the Troll Patrol Live.
We live in turbulent times. The media is full of deception, conspiracy theories, and fake news. Now, more than ever, it is important to ensure you're getting information from a source that's freaking reliable.
I'm Justin Mullins, and this is the Freakin' News.
Get a breaking or interesting story with a humorous twist in about a minute weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, and more.
This is WWE superstar and multiple-time champion Seth Rollins. Seth is one of the top wrestlers in the industry, and never in a million years would I expect that Seth would be spying on me, or at least following me on social media. You see, a few years ago, around 2015 or 2016, Seth started referring to himself as
Seth freaking Rollins.
Now, Justin, you may say, your name is Justin Freakin. That's not very similar. And you'd be right. But I actually rebranded myself as Justin Freakin after Rollins blatantly stole my gimmick. Before last year, I went by
Justin freaking Mullins.
Justin Freakin Mullins.
Justin freaking Mullins.
I am on film and audio, calling myself Justin Freakin Mullins several years before Seth Rollins. And if we take a trip in the Wayback Machine, we can see that I've actually been using the appellative since I was in high school. If this was Seth's only offense, I might let it slide. But recently he started referring to himself as
The Monday Night Messiah.
I wonder where I have heard something like that before.
I am the new media messiah.
I am the new media messiah.
Self-proclaimed new media messiah.
The new media messiah.
So, Seth, since you and the WWE are clearly paying attention to me, consider this video your cease and desist to stop infringing on my intellectual property. And issue me a check for a cut of that sweet merchandise money. Obviously, you and the WWE are big fans of my ideas, so maybe you should offer me a slot on the creative team. Anyone who has watched Raw in the past decade knows you could use the help. And if you're watching this video and you're not Seth Rollins, check out the links below to learn how you can contribute to my legal fund.
Now we turn to YouTuber Justin Freakin. The guy's, he's a formidable voice in the culture. Uncensored and unfiltered political talk and debate from a leftist perspective. the day's top news stories and videos with astute social commentary.
If not high enough for this shit.
All we're establishing is this guy's wicked, sick aesthetic.
Right-wingers are morons.
You brought back the wrong kind of fucking cake, you idiot.
I guess I gotta thank Matt Walsh for introducing me to Justin Freakin.
Yet you're like, we'll pray for somebody. You think you can telepathically communicate with a deity, and you have the audacity to say somebody else has a mental disorder. For the love of God. Raw is still too long. Yes, Bubba Wallace is a NASCAR driver. He's like half black. And that's their issue. And you know, he stands up for progressive causes, and I guess they feel that NASCAR has been, and you know, NASCAR probably has gone out of their way to point out they're like, oh, he's the first black driver. For good reason, you know, because they have a very they have a image problem with, you know, Southern racists. They don't have an image problem with Southern racists. They have the image issue of Southern racists they're trying to get rid of. Here's your fresh meme. This is Kanye's cover for Donda 3. Just dropped, guys. Just dropped. Just saw the preview. You guys are one of the first people to see it. I think it's pretty accurate. But I didn't know. Like, I think this is something Sparkles told me. What's up, Maynard? Maynard coming in here. What's up, buddy? You didn't stay in here very long. I think this is one of the things that Sparkles told me. Is like Donda was his mom's name. Like that house on the cover of his album is like his mom's house, his childhood house he grew up in. So like, yeah, he's got some issues. I've saying I feel sorry for Kanye. Kanji, what's the snizzle? Saying I feel sorry for Kanye is not the right terminology to use. Okay, yeah, I mean, he is indeed going through some shit. But, like, he's being used by some of the worst people in the world. He is full of himself and thinks he's a genius and can do no wrong. And, like, when you get so rich and famous, you have no one around you to tell you you're being fucking stupid, or no one that will want to tell you you're being fucking stupid. They don't want you to get mad at them and cut off the gravy train. Like, I feel like that's a note I need to make to myself. Like, if you ever achieve any modicum of success as a talk show host, make sure you always keep people around you that will tell you if you're being fucking stupid. He absolutely could get the help he needs, so it's just this whole thing. But he went on Piers Morgan and apologized after multiple interviews he's done. Apparently a couple of these were pretty high profile. I don't know about these shows, but other people apparently know about him. He was on some YouTube show and it was a big fucking deal, and they've pulled it down now. Apparently he got even more anti-Semitic on there, and the host didn't push back against him. Because that's the thing. You don't want to make Ye mad, because then Ye ain't going to come on your show no more. And Ye equals big ratings. That's the same thing with the right-wingers in their little echo chamber. They never push back on any of them because they don't want to make any of their fans mad. And they don't want to make them mad, so they don't want to be like... Dave Rubin doesn't want to make anybody on the right mad. He doesn't want to make Dennis Prager or Ben Shapiro mad. He wants to suck up to them. Misinformation is profitable as fuck. Yadolf! Yadolf! We have a winner. Voodoo won the internet today. Yadolf. Oh. We're going back to this shit. You want to talk about this?
Far more formal attire. Here in Pennsylvania, they see what we're seeing, Bob. Tightening polls that suggest this is a 2 or 3 point race, 1 or 2 point race. Some that perhaps are less reliable, suggesting it's a tie game. Either way, with 3 weeks to go, the president believing that by coming here today and making plans to be here again even next week with the vice president in tow, they can start to build the momentum needed for Democrats in these closing weeks. It
is tighter than one would expect it.
Spoke with Congressman Boyle, but we also heard today from Cedric Richmond,
Fetterman is still
the former head of public engagement at the White House, at an event hosted by CBS News. He was asked about the fact that the president continues to hold these official events, less overt campaign rallies. Why is that? Well, listen to what he had to say.
You have to talk to voters and just articulate.
Before we move on from Fetterman here in the Pennsylvania race, I do want to point out he dropped more fire. Fetterman campaign launches new website dedicated to point out Oz's hypocrisy and wild out-of-touch beliefs.
Closer, you probably see election day.
The Oz meme generator. The Oz meme generator. There it is. Go get you some Oz meme generator. and if you feel so inclined to go make a donation to Fetterman. I don't think he needs it. If you felt inclined to donate to a Democratic campaign, Demings in Florida, Beasley in North Carolina, Ryan in Ohio, Warnock in Georgia, those might be the races your money would be better spent. But also, in terms of Senate races, the National Democratic Party is taking pretty good care of them. And those are high-profile races that are raising a lot of money. So maybe if you wanted to put your money into a race, do your state house or Senate. Oh, I'm sure we could go on and on with quack meme generators.
The accomplishments. So that's why you see President Biden out doing more policy type events than rallies, because he's touting what we've been able to do and been very intentional about it. So I just think that Democrats have to do that. And the hard part of campaigning is knocking doors, talking to voters.
Ed, when you
and what's
listen
notable
to
is Cedric.
Oh, go ahead, Ed.
Go ahead, Bob.
Tell me what's on your mind. What's in your notebook, Ed?
Well, what's interesting about that is, again, the White House has been...
That was a fail. That was a fail. So this is Broadcaster Reacts coming out here. The reporter was waiting to hear from the producer his cue to go. That's what was going on. Apparently, the producer didn't do it. That is where the blame probably lies on this one. The producer didn't all right, you're live, in his ear. It's possible the producer was dealing with some other fucking fire in the production booth and just missed that. But then the anger tried to cover, because dead air, like even me, like here on the Troll Patrol, I feel weird with dead air.
Taking great pains to suggest that the campaigning is coming, but that they feel this is an effective way to get him out here. Here's the issue. It's been mostly these sort of small events. You don't get a lot of interaction with the general public, but they feel this is the way to do it because
dead air
it allows
costs,
him to go and remind people about the infrastructure bill, as he did today in Pittsburgh, about the Inflation Reduction Act, about the other steps he's taken this week in terms of student loans and abortion rights. And he hinted today at a stop in Pittsburgh that the campaigning is coming. We did talk to Congressman Brendan Boyle, who you mentioned, and he said he agrees that Democrats perhaps need to do a better job of selling what they've done. Take a listen to what he said. Should more Democrats be willing to campaign with him publicly?
I certainly am. Now, granted, I am in a pretty Democratic district in Philadelphia, but here's what I say, and I say this quite proudly. This president and this Congress has had the most successful Democratic policy, domestic policy record since the 1965-66 Congress.
It's been non-existent. I mean, yeah, it's a low fucking bar, dude. Well, you're very specifically about 67.
Boyle also suggested
67.
That Democrats need to do a better job of selling what they've done. Again, the infrastructure bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, the gun control measures that were passed over the summer. He comes from a very blue part of Pennsylvania. This, in fact, is in his district. No doubt about who wins around these parts, as you know quite well. But I think the argument he's making is they've done a lot of big things. He argues the biggest legislative achievements since the 1960s. Why aren't Democrats proudly campaigning on that? He'd like to see more of it.
Ed, you're laying out how the Democrats feel like they need to talk about their legislative...
This is the most awkward news hit ever.
View as very positive for the economy. They need to talk about their policies. But you're such a...
I can't. There's like 3 more minutes of this. This is torture. Oh, fuck. But voting across the country is setting records. It's not just in Georgia. Early voting is setting records on level with the 2020 presidential election. Turns out people don't like when you mess with their democracy.
Americans are more energized about the midterms than they used to be. Nearly 4 million Americans have already cast their ballots, and from coast to coast, campaigns are taking their final shapes, rather. Across the country, Democrats are hoping supporters will be motivated by the fight for abortion rights, while Republicans believe crime, immigration, and the economy will resonate most with voters. Despite the influx in voters, Senator Bernie Sanders is urging the younger generations to send in their ballots.
But I do know that in recent years we have seen a significant uptick in young people participating in elections 2018 and 2020. I just want to make sure that they understand how terribly important this election is and see if we can get them out to vote.
Sanders also speaking out on topics like inflation and abortion rights, calling them crucial reasons why every vote matters.
This is part of Sanders' push to get people out. It's going to be a 3-week blitz where he's going to be holding campaign rallies because he don't think the Democrats are doing enough.
Next Senate race that's largely been under the radar. Polls show Democratic Senator Catherine Cortez Masto and Adam Laxalt essentially tied. Now Dems are bringing in a popular former president and the man who won the 2020 Nevada caucus. Evan Lambert is live in Washington. Evan, they are trying to drive voters to the polls.
Absolutely, Nicole. And the reason that Nevada is so important with this Senate race, the incumbent Democrat, Catherine Cortez Masto, running neck and neck there. If Adam Laxalt pulls out a win, that seat flips to Republicans, which could change the balance of power. As the races for the all-important Senate and governor's mansion in the swing state of Nevada have Democrats looking at polling that's too close for comfort and worrying about a possible red wave, it's apparently time to bring out the big guns. And that's not President Biden, who has made repeated visits to Pennsylvania, but hardly any in other swing states like Georgia, Ohio, and Nevada. But former President Barack Obama...
Even John Fetterman didn't look too impressed.
On November 1st, at an event where incumbent Senator Catherine Cortez Masto Masto and Governor Steve Sisolak are expected to speak. Democratic Senator Bernie Sanders will also hit Nevada to drive young voter turnout. Cortez Masto, one of the most vulnerable Democrats this cycle. Obama just endorsed Sisolak.
Governor Steve Sisolak is in a real fight. Republicans are spending millions trying to defeat him, and we can't let that happen.
Former President Trump has also left his mark on the races. He campaigned in northern Nevada earlier this month.
Adam Laxalt is a true champion for the people of Nevada. He's a friend of mine. He's the only parent in this race, a father of four great people.
In recent ads in the race, which could determine control of the Senate, Republican former Attorney General Adam Laxalt has tied
could have been the suit. You're right, RB.
to President Biden and stubbornly high inflation.
They wrecked our economy.
While Cortez Masto and Democrats have consistently hit Laxalt on his opposition to abortion rights.
Adam Laxalt called Roe v. Wade a joke, and it made me feel horrified that we are going backwards in time.
A recent CBS YouGov poll shows Cortez Masto and Laxalt statistically tied. And something important to note here, many expect Latino voters to play an important role in these races. They make up 21% of eligible voters in Nevada, that according to Pew. Nicole?
All right, Evan, thank you for that. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation.
Well, you're welcome, Nicole. Her perkiness kind of just like, I might have been in a little bit of a daze there. She just like snapped me right out of it. My God. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you very much. I needed that. I needed to wake up. Justice Amy Coney Barrett doing something you're actually going to applaud. I know, right? Crazy. Biden's student debt relief notches early victories from GOP-appointed judges. Justice Amy Coney Barrett declines to block the policy as another federal judge dismisses a challenge from the GOP-led states. President Joe Biden's student debt relief program won a pair of early legal victories on Thursday as Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett declined to halt the policy, and a federal judge in Missouri dismissed a legal challenge from 6 Republican-led states. Legal battles over the sweeping debt relief program, which offers up to $20,000 of loan forgiveness to tens of millions of Americans, are far from over, and the issue could potentially end back at the Supreme Court in a matter of days or weeks. But so far, several Republican-appointed judges have been cool to efforts by GOP state officials and conservative groups to put an immediate halt to Biden's plan. Might have something to do with limiting presidential power. Remember, these are these Federalist Society fucks that believe in the unitary executive theory. Barrett on Thursday swiftly rejected a Wisconsin conservative group's emergency request to stop the policy without comment or any indication she referred the matter to the full court. Barrett, a Donald Trump appointee, had received the request a day earlier because she oversees emergency matters from the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. It was the first time a legal challenge to Biden's relief plan had reached the high court. Brown County Taxpayers Association had argued that it should be able to challenge the Biden administration's debt relief program on behalf of the taxpayers, who it says will be dealt a staggering blow by the policy. Clearly, they don't know how fucking anything works. The lawsuit was brought by the conservative Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. Sounds like a bunch of chuckle fucks.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Also today, a federal judge in Missouri dismissed a lawsuit by 6 Republican-led states challenging the debt relief program. Meanwhile, Senator Elizabeth Warren is upset over a ruling about a watchdog group that oversees student loans. Warren blasts a federal court's lawless and reckless decision, striking down the funding mechanism for a top student loan industry watchdog. A court shaped by Republicans just ruled against a key consumer agency Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren helped shape. On Wednesday, the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau the Bureau's funding structure is unconstitutional because the Federal Reserve funds the agency rather than requiring funding approval through congressional legislation. There's a reason they did that. Under former President Barack Obama, Warren helped create the CFPB, with the key idea that it would function as an independent agency without political influence, so it could conduct oversight as effectively as possible, and this ruling could fundamentally change that. This is a lawless and reckless decision, Warren wrote on Twitter. At CFPB has returned billions of dollars to Americans by doing its job, and its funding is clearly constitutional. Extreme right-wing judges are throwing into question every rule the CFPB enforces to protect consumers and businesses alike. This reckless decision could stop the CFPB from enforcing rules that prevent debt collections from harassing you, she added. Rules to stop banks opening fake accounts or closing your accounts without asking. Regions just got hit with opening fucking extra accounts in people's names. It's a very common practice. Rules to stop banks from opening fake accounts or closing your account without asking. Rules to stop financial firms charging you outrageous junk fees. A three-panel judge in the Fifth Circuit, all appointed by former President Donald Trump, wrote in a ruling that Congress did not merely cede direct control over the Bureau's budget by insulating it from annual or other time-limited appropriations, it also ceded indirect control by providing that the Bureau's self-determined funding be drawn from a source that is itself outside the appropriations process. A double insulation from Congress's purse strings that is unprecedented across the government. Yeah, because they didn't want Republicans tampering with it. That's exactly why they did that. That is exactly why they did that. We're going to move over to the Oklahoma governor's debate. I believe this happened last night. This is Republican Kevin Stitt. I don't even know the Democrat's name. I'm sorry. And Brian Tyler Cohen didn't put her name either. Joy for okay. Joy Hoffmeister. Now Brian did put it in the comments, so I don't want to seem like I'm ragging on him too much. It just wasn't in the headline.
So let's talk about the facts. The fact is, the rates of violent crime are higher in Oklahoma under your watch than in New York and California. That's a fact.
Well, we'll have that fact checked by the Frontier Superintendent.
It's also a fact that medical
marijuana... Hang on,
marijuana...
Oklahomans, do you believe we have higher crime than New York or California? That's what she just said.
Safety and security is my top priority, and it will be as governor.
Thank
so
you.
let's talk about the...
Let's talk about the facts, shall we? Violent crime rate by state. So Oklahoma is in the 400 to 500 range for violent crime there. This is violent crime perpetrated per 100,000. New York, you can see, is in the lower category. California also in the lower category. No, Cali is the same color as Oklahoma. I'd have to do a closer inspection of the numbers there, but you can see a pattern here with right-wing states, specifically Alabama, the higher violent crime rate than Illinois. That's what I always used to tell people in Alabama when they brought up crime. Tennessee, look at the crime rate in Tennessee. Arkansas, Louisiana. Ooh boy, weird, isn't it? Now, their response back to that, Tulsa is indeed one of the most dangerous cities. Their response back to that was, well, the crime takes place in the cities, in the Democratic-run cities. You're not telling me there's some correlation with red states here? I don't know. I think it's a mixed bag, but I mean, if you really want to talk about crime and the GOP, here's a crime I want to point out to you. Moving over to Arizona, where a GOP-backed Arizona College Board candidate who once said he wanted to protect children from the progressive left, was charged for masturbating near a preschool, according to a police report. Now, we've covered this. This is not proper sexual anarchy.
You live in sexual anarchy?
This is just out of bounds. This is pervy shit. Republican-backed Arizona College Board district candidate who once said he wanted to protect children from the progressive left is now in a now deleted social media post was charged with public sexual I bet he deleted it now. Was charged with public sexual indecency after police alleged he was masturbating less than 200 feet away from a preschool. Maybe he's waiting to pick his kid up, and I don't know why I want to keep making excuses. It's not necessarily that the preschool was what aroused him. 80% chance it was the preschool that aroused him. 20% chance, he was waiting on his kid, and he just needed to rub one out. Randy Kaufman, a candidate for the Maricopa County Community College District's governing board, was charged after he was confronted by a campus police officer on October 4th, according to a police report obtained by local news station KPNX. He could face an additional felony charge due to his proximity to the school. We have a local... Nah, we don't have the local news hit. Kaufman did not respond to a request for comment. According to the report, the incident occurred around 4:30 p.m. local time at one of the colleges operated by the district in which Kaufman was seeking an elected position. A campus officer wrote in the report that he first saw Kaufman in the front driver's seat of a truck with his pants down mid-thigh and was exposed, showing his fully erect nude penis. It sounds like he was wanting to be a perv. Well, I mean, I don't put it past a cop being nosy and going over and looking in somebody's windshield, but it kind of sounds like the dude was just wide open, he wasn't just under the steering wheel He was exposed, showing his fully erect penis, is what it says. The report alleged that Kaufman was manipulating his genitals in a masturbatory manner. I love that statement. Manipulating his genitals in a masturbatory manner. Was manipulating his genitals in a masturbatory manner. The report also noted that there was a person riding a bicycle just 8 feet away from the truck and several preschool-aged children outdoors in the playground of the Wurzel's Preschool and Child Care Center just south of the college campus. I thought Wurzel's was like a pretzel thing. When confronted by the officer, Kaufman said, "I'm sorry, I fucked up. I'm really stressed." Kaufman said he was watching interracial porn on his phone and claimed he did not notice the preschool until the officer asked him to look around. Don't you see how alarming that is? That there are children nearby, people passing on bikes and in cars where they can look and see what you are doing, the officer said. On Tuesday, Kaufman told a news outlet in a statement that he would be suspending his campaign. Here's the local news hit on it.
Implications, Brianna, for the election.
Yeah, Derek, there's a lot of factors to all of this. For one thing, early ballots have already gone out with Randy Kaufman's name on them. But until he formally withdraws with the county recorder's office, he could still win, even with a public sexual indecency charge.
A man running for a college district's governing board arrested for masturbating on a campus that's part of the district he's been running for.
Well, first, it's disturbing. The report from the police is disturbing. And then from a political standpoint, it's a game ender. It's over.
Bob Charles is a political
Trump
analyst
won.
for campaigns and says in the court of public opinion, this is damning for Randy Kaufman. According to the police report, a Maricopa County College police officer found Randy Kaufman with his pants down, masturbating in his truck at 4:30 in the afternoon in the Rio Salado College campus. The parking lot just feet away from a preschool and child care center where kids were outside playing. When confronted,
this will do nothing to him.
Officer, I f***ed up.
Totally
I'm really
win.
stressed. Kaufman went on to tell the officer he worked in the Department of Corrections for 27 years and was running for the college's governing board. Kaufman then claimed he didn't notice the child center until he got out of his truck and asked the officer if he was going to put that in the report. The officer responding, "Don't you see how alarming that is? That there are children nearby."
I don't think that anybody that hears this news and were to have cast a ballot for him feels good about their ballot.
I'm surprised Roy Moore lost, Mox.
Public sexual indecency on October 4th. The Maricopa County Recorder's Office says it's too late for his name to be removed from the ballot, and some people have already voted early, which can't be changed.
If you already voted, you already voted.
Randy Kaufman sent me this statement today, announcing he's suspending his campaign, saying, "A personal legal matter has recently arisen, and I need to step out of the
personal
race
legal
to focus on
matter.
personal affairs. I asked if he wanted to do an interview with me, and he said not at this time." The Maricopa County Recorder's Office says as of Tuesday night, Kaufman had not officially submitted a withdrawal. So even though he says his campaign is suspended, he's still officially in the race and could win. Charles says this incident may impact how many people in Arizona end up early voting.
I think that this causes people to maybe hold their ballots longer because they'll say, well, what about these other candidates? What if something else should pop up?
Now, if Kaufman ends up submitting that official withdrawal, then no matter how many votes he gets on the ballot, Kelly Butler, his competitor, would still win. As of now, it appears he's facing a misdemeanor charge, but if it were upgraded to a felony because children were nearby, then Charles says that would prevent him from taking office anyway. Guys, back to you.
Wow. Bizarre case, Brianna.
Okay, they upgrade it to a felony. He wins, and they don't let him take office. He's going to claim it was a political hit job, right? And he's going to be on Fox. He's going to be like the next big GOP thing. They don't care, I promise you. They don't care. They say they want to protect children. They do not care. They don't care about facts either. Let's talk about the GOP and the movie 2000 Mules. Arizona GOP legislators rolled out the red carpet for 2000 Mules, and law enforcement gave the movie what amounts to 2 thumbs down. Is this a local news hit or is this something different?
Welcome back as we continue our coverage of Decision 2022.
And the war on disinformation and how election conspiracies are having an impact on this year's campaigns. Good evening, I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. On Friday, the Attorney General's office announced key players in an election conspiracy claim misled the public and never provided evidence that they claim to have.
But one expert on disinformation says that a lot of damage has already been done.
Team 12's Joe Dana explains.
So that they can explain what they have. Thank you, Shauna.
On May 31st, Republican state lawmakers held an unusual hearing involving extraordinary claims about U.S. elections.
Make sure that these elections are secure.
East Phoenix lawmaker Shauna Bullock hosted the hearing, giving the floor to 2 self-described election watchdogs from Texas.
So I just want to thank you for being here.
Catherine Engelbrecht and Greg Phillips.
Catherine and I are working with Sheriff Lamb and other sheriffs around the country.
Their theory was the premise of the 2000 Mules movie, touted repeatedly by top GOP candidates for office. Candidate for Governor Carrie Lake chided reporters for not giving more attention to the movie's claims.
We're going to go watch the movie 2000 Mules, which I hope that the Arizona Republic will finally open their eyes and cover. Our elections were stolen from us.
The movie claims geolocation, cell phone data, and surveillance videos prove nonprofit organizations paid mules to illegally collect and deposit ballots into drop boxes, rigging the election for Joe Biden.
True the Vote has the largest store of election intelligence for the 2020 elections in the world.
During the hearing,
this is like it's impressive production value. That's what wows these people.
Are you able to disclose which nonprofit organizations?
We would love to put that list out. The but is, we also need law enforcement to be able to do their jobs.
They were also asked if they shared their allegedly damning geolocation evidence with the state attorney general.
There seems to be a bit of controversy amongst us. They'll get another copy of it.
And what about the FBI?
We have already given this data to the FBI.
But on Friday, Arizona Attorney General Chief Special Agent Reginald Grigsby slammed the two for their claims and recommended Engelbrecht and Phillips be investigated by the FBI, writing, True the Vote is adamant it had evidence of ballot stuffing and voting fraud despite repeated requests. True the Vote never did provide the information it purported to have in its possession. And True the Vote began to publicly assert they provided us with the information and the Phoenix office of the FBI. Not only is this patently false, True the Vote acknowledged to us during a meeting with them they had not given us the information.
This is a new moment.
Dr. John Carlson of the Recovering Truth Project at ASU researches disinformation.
There's a very clear realization that the promotion of the fraudulent 2020 election, so-called, is a real boon for fundraising. And so there are a lot of folks who are at the upper political level who are sort of like wink,
the
wink.
crimes you claim like you've got the evidence,
really
if you make public statements about it.
But we know it's not true.
Fact checks and bipartisan election integrity organizations concluded long ago the 2000 Mules movie was not credible.
The problem is that there are many people who are listening to them who absolutely believe that the election was stolen.
And there are consequences.
With the information that you provided to us,
Representative Bullock said more than 100 so-called voter integrity bills proposed at the legislature were influenced in part on 2000 Mules. Carlson calls hearings like this political theater. He says voters should pay attention not to what people and politicians claim on blogs and in movies, but what is actually provided as evidence under oath.
Offering testimony in a court of law where if you don't speak the truth, you can be held accountable and liable for perjury.
He worries too many voters
don't believe a movie by a convicted felon.
The real concern going forward, I think, is that those who might want to subvert the rules, change the rules, or engage in anti-democratic behavior, even violence, if you don't win.
We asked Representative Bullock and candidate for Governor Kari Lake if they have a response to the Attorney General's letter about 2000 Mules. So far, they have not responded to our requests. Joe Dana, 12 News.
I like their mural they had behind him. That was nice. I give props to these local stations and they deserve it. I like the motif. Let's stick with election conspiracy, but let's move over to Georgia. Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Text from Loeffler's phone shed light on activities ahead of January 6th and the 2021 runoff. If you will remember, Kelly Loeffler was the appointed senator from Georgia, appointed by Brian Kemp. Horrible candidate. She lost to Senator Raphael Warnock. Tricia Raffensperger's text messages 6 days after the 2020 elections was as blistering as it was direct. Hours after Kelly Loeffler, then Georgia's junior U.S. senator, called for her husband Brad to resign from his post as Secretary of State in a bid to appease then-President Donald Trump, the typically measured grandmother made clear exactly how she felt about Loeffler. Never did I think you were the kind of person to unleash such hate and fury on someone in political office of the same party, Tricia Raffensperger wrote, noting that her family is under siege because you didn't have the decency or good manners to come and talk to my husband with any questions you may have had. I hold you personally responsible, she added, for anything that happens to any of my family, from my husband, children, and grandchildren. Damn. Messages come on November 9th, 2020, the same day Loeffler, then locked in a tight runoff battle against Democrat Raphael Warnock, and her Georgia colleague, U.S. Senator David Perdue, called for Brad Raffensperger's ouster. They cited no evidence beyond his unspecified failures administering the state's elections. Tricia Raffensperger's text did not appear to receive a reply from Loeffler, and a few weeks later, the former financial executive ended up losing her January 5th, 2021 runoff to serve the final 2 years of U.S. Senator Johnny Isaac's term after he stepped down. But the message, which appeared on one of 59 pages worth of text from Loeffler's iPhone, obtained by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, offers a rare peek into Loeffler's private deliberations during her final weeks in office as she fought to hold on to her Senate seat while Trump and his allies cast doubt over the election. They provide a more personal view of the private maneuvering and mounting pressure on Loeffler in the run-up to the January 5th runoff and the storming of the U.S. Capitol the day after by a pro-Trump mob that led her to reverse her decision to cast a vote to block Democrat Joe Biden's presidential victory. So she was going to side with the fucking members of the House that were going to object to the electors. The copies of the text exchanges were sent to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution anonymously, and it's not immediately clear how the messages were obtained. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution's effort to identify who sent the text messages were unsuccessful, though the metadata accompanying the document sent to the paper show it was created July 25th. Messages appeared to relate directly to the 2020 election and the 2021 runoff, and they were collected in a document with the name of a vendor typically used by law firms to respond to subpoenas. It didn't include other texts such as personal messages to friends or family. Atlanta Journal-Constitution confirmed the veracity of the exchanges with 4 people who were participants in some of the conversations. Reporters contacted everyone identified in the exchanges cited in the story. Several declined to comment. Others didn't return phone calls and text messages. In a statement, Loeffler's spokeswoman, Caitlin O'Day, said the messages were a desperate attempt to distract voters 20 days from the election. Texts, which spanned from November 2020 to February 2021, almost entirely involved discussions between Loeffler, her aides, allies, and supporters about election fraud, her runoff campaign, and the certification of Biden's victory. In case you forgot what she looked like. Spokesman for Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis said the office has not released any documents related to Senator Kelly Loeffler, and spokesman for the U.S. House Select Committee investigating the January 6 attacks and the Justice Department did not immediately respond to requests for comment. So if you want to see more of the juicy details, they really spent a long time setting it up. I'm going to let you read the whole thing. One of Georgia's fake electors, attorney Daryl Moody, was also involved in Loeffler's campaign. The day before the GOP electors gathered to vote, Moody sought the senator's permission to participate. If Biden was certified as the winner, I hadn't planned to go. Since I'm technically an officer and on your leadership team, I wanted to make sure I'm making choices that reflect well on you. Please let me know if you have any input. Loeffler told campaign staffers, I let him know we had no issues with that. Moody replied the next morning that he was not super thrilled about trying to vote as an elector, but I've been told that we could lose important national support for our Senate races if we don't, so I hope it's helpful. Admitting to a crime. This is evidence of a crime. One of the most ardent voices who sought to enlist Loeffler was then Congresswoman-elect Marjorie Taylor Greene. A month before the conservative firebrand was sworn into the U.S. House, Greene asked Loeffler to talk about a plan we are developing on how to vote on the Electoral College votes on January 6th. Wow. Less than 3 weeks later, on December 20th, Greene invited Loeffler to a White House meeting the following day that she said was organized with Trump, his legal team, and members of Congress.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Officer Loeffler subsequently shared the invitation with 2 of her campaign aides who urged her to respond that she was with Ivanka Trump, the president's daughter and White House advisor, all day and couldn't attend. Loeffler shared the message but added to Greene that everything is on the table with regard to January 6th. Wow. I'm glad I actually scrolled down and got to see more of the text because there is some fucking shit here. Yeah, I'm not high enough for this shit. Thank you. Well, now we see why Georgia believes they have such an airtight case, right? Why the Justice Department believes they have airtight case. Chargers are going to come. They're going to get some people. The appeals court has ruled that Lindsey Graham must testify in the 2020 election probe. Federal appeals court ruled unanimously on Thursday that Senator Lindsey Graham must testify before the Atlanta special grand jury investigating possible criminal efforts to overturn the 2020 election. And apparently they got all the receipts. You are nailed dead to rights, motherfuckers. Ruling upholds a lower court decision ordering Graham to testify despite his repeated attempts to dodge the special grand jury. He is likely to appeal. A three-judge panel of the Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit denied Graham's request to block the subpoena and affirmed the lower court's decision to narrow the scope of the questions prosecutors can ask. Graham had argued that a sitting senator is shielded from these types of investigations, but the appeals court said he has failed to demonstrate that this approach will violate his rights under the Speech and Debate Clause. Even assuming that the clause protects informal legislative investigations, the district court's approach ensures that Senator Graham will not be questioned about such investigations, noted the 6-page order. As the court determined, there is significant dispute about whether his phone calls with Georgia election officials were legislative investigations at all. Should there be a dispute over whether a given question about Senator Graham's phone calls asks about investigatory conduct, the senator may raise those issues at the time. Graham said he will take this as far as we need to take it. So despite the fact that he keeps getting smacked down in court, he's going to go to the Supreme Court, I guess. And I would assume they declined to take the case, but once again, this is a wild Supreme Court that we never know how they're going to rule. Prosecutors see evidence for obstruction charges. No decision on charges has been made by the DOJ, and records probe, timing, politics, and debate over the charges are among the consideration. So if timing is in the debate, then the charges are on the table and are probably coming, possibly coming. I just feel like they're priming us. There wouldn't be this many stories by the DOJ. I mean, the stories aren't by the DOJ, about the DOJ and their willingness to prosecute Trump, if it wasn't for, get ready for what's getting ready to happen after the election. It's coming. A group of Justice Department prosecutors believe there is sufficient evidence to charge Donald Trump with obstruction of justice, but the path to an actual indictment is far from clear. The team that's part of the classified records probe has not yet made a formal recommendation to Attorney General Merrick Garland, who would ultimately approve or reject such a move, according to people familiar with the matter. It's also unlikely officials would bring only obstruction charges amid several other Trump investigations into potential crimes, the people said. Bloomberg fucked up over here because of my ad blockers. We got the pertinent information. We can move on. Not like we don't have more Trump cope over here. Trump allegedly engaged in conspiracy to defraud the United States and knew that his fraud claim was wrong. U.S. District Judge David Carter ordered the transfer of 4 emails from Trump attorney John Eastman to the House January 6th committee. A California federal judge has found evidence that former President Donald Trump allegedly engaged in a conspiracy to defraud the United States. Sounds about right. Ordering the transfer of 4 emails from Trump attorney John Eastman to the House committee investigating the Capitol attacks. In an 18-page order Wednesday, U.S. District Judge David Carter said the emails were used to press false claims of voter fraud in Georgia, even though President Trump knew that the specific numbers of voter fraud were wrong, and that Trump continued to tout those numbers both in court and to the public. The court finds that these emails are sufficiently related to and in furtherance of a conspiracy to defraud the United States. Trump news for the day. Oh, except let's hear from one Mr. Mike Pence. Mike Pence, would you vote for Donald Trump in 2024?
Nominee for president in 2024, will you vote for him?
did he rehearse that? He had to have known, because he was a broadcaster. He's savvier than many people give him credit for. He had to know that question was coming. So did he rehearse that pause?
Well,
to
there
get
might
that
be
kind of
somebody
laugh?
else I'd prefer more.
The Republican nominee for president in 2024, will you vote for him?
Well, there might be somebody else I'd prefer more.
That was rehearsed. It was 100% rehearsed, and he means himself. He means himself. This motherfucker still thinks he's going to be president. Wow. Wow. Sir, in the immortal words of Eminem, you had one shot, one opportunity to be president, and you blew it. You blew it. You mom spaghetti on your shirt, sir. You couldn't pull the trigger on the 25th Amendment.
You know, what I can tell you is I have every confidence that the Republican Party is going to sort out leadership. All my focus has been on the midterm elections, and it'll stay that way for the next 20 days. But after that, we'll be thinking about the future, ours and the nation's, and I'll keep you posted, okay?
Absolutely a rehearsed answer. And delivered well. Like, there was nothing wrong with that. But, like, you're fucking delusional, man. Oh, God, I'm going to put that on TikTok, and I'm going to have, like, the dun, 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 dun. It's going to happen. You heard it here first. Let's go to another potential presidential candidate in 2024. His name is Marco Rubio. Little Marco, as Trump called him in 2016. A father of a Parkland victim who, by the way, like, I watched his... we didn't play it here on the show. We watched his reaction to the Parkland shooter getting life. He's not happy. He doesn't think it was justice. The best I can tell, none of the parents think justice was carried out. So I wanted to point that out, because I don't ever want to be accused of not acknowledging, like, all sides of a story, because I made a big thing about, like, whether we should have the death penalty or not, and I'm pretty much landing on the side of no, we shouldn't. They all said it was going to serve as a deterrent, and I just, like, the idea, because all of them said it this way. They said that people will, when they go to commit a heinous act like this, they'll know they can get away with it and just get life in prison. And that's wild to me, because, like, I have a lot of positions that, you know, I even question, but, like, I kind of think the death penalty is the easy way out. Like, suffering in a cell, if you're talking strictly punitive, making someone suffer in a prison for years and years and years, especially in the U.S. prison system, that is torture. So if something punitive is what you're looking for, I don't see how you don't land on life. Oh, and there's also something else I need to bring up, that apparently one of the jurors felt threatened. Like, there's some controversy about the sentencing of the Parkland shooter. We might get into that later. But the reason I was bringing up the dad of one of the Parkland shooter's victims is because he was very upset. We watched the Val Demings Marco Rubio debate the other night. Marco seemed to flip-flop on his stance on reforming gun laws, and this Parkland victim's father is not having it. It's possible that CNN will just buffer and never play, because that's a thing that happens. It doesn't like this browser. That was a thing that could happen. I got you covered, though.
A complete 180. Republican Senator Marco Rubio of Florida saying during a debate that he does not support raising the minimum age to buy a rifle.
In a nationally televised CNN town hall 3 days after the Parkland massacre, you said, quote, if you are 18 years of age, you should not be able to buy a rifle. I will support a law that takes that right away. Would you still support that federal law?
Now, let me tell you why that law doesn't work and why that proposal doesn't work. We had a shooter last Thursday, tragic, in North Carolina. He was 15. Where did he get the gun? He didn't get it from a gun show. He certainly didn't buy it. He's 15 years of age.
So listen to exactly what Rubio said to the father of one of the victims of the Parkland school shooting during that town hall in 2018. Watch this.
I absolutely believe that in this country, if you are 18 years of age, you should not be able to buy a rifle, and I will support a law that takes that right away.
Fantastic.
There's something about that moment I think was meaningful for a lot of people. And Fred Guttenberg was the father you saw there. You saw him with Senator Rubio there in the wake of the shooting. His daughter, Jamie, was one of the 17 people killed in Parkland. She was 14 years old. So, Fred, I mean, I just want to be clear here. It's not like you suddenly, after that moment, became a supporter of Senator Rubio's or anything like that. But that moment, when you said fantastic and you were nodding, you were emotional. I mean, it almost seemed like you were surprised, but there was this moment between the two of you, and he said he believed in this and he was going to do it. And then he comes out last night and says, no, it's not anymore, not at all.
Of course.
That was days after I buried my daughter. I was just a dad who wanted to believe him.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know enough about the issue back then and just how badly he has failed in the years prior, and we all know how he's failed since.
Ooh.
He's a liar. He's just a pathetic liar. And you know, while I was sitting waiting to go on here tonight, I was reading the reporting on the DNA test kits that Texas schools are now giving out to parents in case their kids get shot in school. You can draw a straight line from guys like Marco Rubio and their lies and their ineffectiveness to DNA test kits for parents whose kids are getting shot in schools. Because Marco has done nothing. Listen, for the year after that town hall, I met with him on a regular basis.
And I think that's important to say. You did meet with him. He took those meetings. So you had face-to-face conversations.
100%. And I'll tell you, I stopped after a year because I started to feel like, you know, he's like a dog chasing his tail, running in circles, going nowhere. And I got tired of being run around like him, by him like that. He's useless. He isn't accomplishing anything, and he lies about it.
So, you know, it's been 5 years now. You talk about that moment was days after you buried your daughter, almost 5 years now. And there's been so many promises made, it's almost impossible to take stock of them all, right? Now, there was a bipartisan bill that was passed. President Biden had passed.
Yeah.
But it does not include minimum age to buy an assault weapon. It doesn't ban assault weapons, right? I mean, it does some things. You don't want to not, but it fell so far short. Yeah. So, you know, you bring up those DNA test kits. Is it inevitable that we just keep having more Parklands?
If we keep voting for people like Marco Rubio. Listen, Val Deming said it right last night. She said, in the debate, how many times are you going to watch? And she listed the whole series of examples. These different things happen and stand by and do nothing. In the legislation passed in the spring,
No. It's worse. I actually watched Vox piece on this last night. It's in the wake of mass shootings, they actually push less gun laws. They push laws that loosen gun restrictions, and like it accelerates right-wing states passing those kinds of laws. They're actively working towards the active shooters, aiding them, it seems. I'm flabbergasted. I'm flabbergasted. Remember, kids, shoot up drugs, not schools. Much better time for everybody. Much better time for everybody. I probably should have hit the content warning before that one. I'll hit the content warning before this one. Oh, I gotta check. I gotta catch the Twitch ads. When we come back, we're doing the Waukesha parade. See, the Twitch ads you just left if you're on Twitch. I'm sorry, I didn't catch them in time. When we come back, we're doing the Waukesha parade shooter trial. It's wild. I'm gonna show you footage from that. We're gonna check in with Kanye, who apparently apologized to Piers Morgan. There's outrage over murals in schools. Ted Cruz doxed a teacher, and we're gonna talk about the right-wing obsession with NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace. All that and more on the other side of the break here on the Troll Patrol live.
Hi, I'm Justin FREAKIN. I'm a leftist broadcaster and comedian, not liberal, leftist. And despite what you may have heard from right-wing propaganda, George Soros isn't handing out Soros bucks and funding people like me. There are no Koch brothers, Mercers, or any number of right-wing think tanks funding content on the left side of the spectrum the way they fund people like Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, and Dennis Prager. And YouTube doesn't monetize videos that are controversial or deal with politics unless you're someone like Steven Crowder. So this is an ultimatum. Become a patron. Support my Patreon, or I'm going to become a right-winger and get some of that easy money. You know for a fact that I could be bigger than Charlie Kirk or Jesse Lee Peterson.
Amazing!
All I have to do is talk about how I used to be an SJW snowflake, but the left went too far with their cultural Marxism, and Republicans are stupid enough to buy it, even though this video exists. And you know I'm right, so give me your money or I'm selling you out.
We live in turbulent times. The media is full of deception, conspiracy theories, and fake news. Now, more than ever, it is important to ensure you're getting information from a source that's freaking reliable.
I'm Justin Mullins, and this is the Freakin' News.
Get a breaking or interesting story with a humorous twist in about a minute weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, and more.
I felt like this meme was apropos. Videos full of obvious lies. Dipshits over here looking at him like Ariana Grande. It is who that is, right? I think I know my meme. It was Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande. That was like fucking 5 Pete Davidson girlfriends ago. I think him and Kim are Splitsville now, but I also don't know. I don't keep up with that shit. No, I spend my time watching like hours of court coverage and shit because I'm a total weirdo. Fucking, I watch a lot of auditing videos. So, content warning. We're gonna go to the Waukesha parade killer. Dude that drove his SUV into a Christmas parade in Wisconsin. He is now on trial. His name is Darrell Brooks. We're going to watch his opening statement after the prosecution rests its case. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes, because the entire time the prosecution was presenting its case, he was saying objective. He is representing himself, if those of you who are unaware. And that was a whole process, getting the judge to allow him to represent himself. I don't know that he is mentally fit to stand trial, but he claims he is one of those sovereign citizen types you're going to hear him talk about. That's not his name or corporate name or something. You'll hear him say shit like that. I'm sure you've seen the video, and if you guys have watched any Echoplex media, you're familiar with the type of person that I'm talking about. So that's his mindset going into this. Yeah, really bad idea. The first couple of days of the trial, he actually came dressed in his orange jumpsuit. He did not dress in the suit the court provided him. And I even listened to the judge explain to him why he should wear the suit. And I will say one thing, and you will probably, I would assume through the video we're getting ready to watch, you will get this. The judge is doing an excellent fucking job. We watch a lot of shit-ass judges on this channel. This judge has the absolute, as the religious folks say, the patience of Job. And is doing everything they can to make sure there is no mistrial here. All right, so this is the opening statement from Darrell Brooks after the prosecution rests its case.
That I accepted for value in return for
and
value.
And that's how I'm going to answer that. So
let's not verified proof. We still aren't.
Sir, there is no requirement in the law that the state or the court establish that. So
actually,
your
there is.
Noted.
Actually, there is, Your Honor. Subject matter jurisdiction has to be proven for the record. Has to be proven.
The jury is not in the room yet. They're bringing the jury in.
You know that just as well as
Mr. Brooks.
You know that.
Please do not make statements that mischaracterize the law.
You know it has to be proven
or that
for the
impugn
record.
the integrity of this court.
You know it has to be proven
and the
on the
proceedings
record.
Here.
You know
the jury
it has to be proven.
is advised to disregard the statements that Mr. Brooks is making regarding subject matter jurisdiction. They are not evidence, and you are to disregard them.
Oh, the jury's in there already.
I presented this evidence. Just has yet to be proven for the record.
The jury will disregard the incorrect statements of the law that Mr. Brooks is stating.
Where's lawful law that is incorrect?
Mr. Brooks, please. I am going to read one instruction. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated.
Where they were bringing the jury in.
An opening statement. The purpose of an opening statement is to give the defendant an opportunity to tell you what he expects the evidence will show so that you will better understand the evidence as it is introduced during the trial. I must caution you, however, that the opening statements are not evidence. With that, go ahead, sir.
Obviously, I don't have any rehearsed or well-prepared speech, so I'm just going to speak from the heart. I would just like to first say that I want to bring to remembrance something I think everyone in this room has been taught pretty much as far back as we can remember, is that there's always two sides to every story. And for so long now, roughly a year, there's only truly been one side told of this story. And I've sat back and watched from countless narratives that's been put out there, the way this incident has been portrayed at times, and finally everyone getting a chance to get the full story.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Try to
yes
argue facts.
Go into the parade.
The fact is that this incident was tragic, very tragic. That's not lost on me. Facts are that there's still a lot of people healing, a lot of families healing on both sides. And when I'm confident that the evidence will show, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. When I'm confident that the evidence will show is that this incident was not planned.
I believe that.
This incident was not intentional. And this incident was never even thought about. It's easy to I'm sorry. Just need a second. I think it's
Well, I believe it wasn't premeditated. Wasn't he running from the cops?
It's easy to look at the magnitude of something like this and
But that doesn't excuse what you did, motherfucker.
form opinions. I think it's easy to disregard a lot of factors.
What's up, Rocksteady? Good evening.
And I think in reference to what I stated earlier, it's easy to forget the other side of the coin.
Man, you've already said that kind of shit. You tell us the other side of the coin. Get to it.
There's been a lot of suffering involved in this incident. A lot.
This is Daryl Brooks. This is the Waukesha parade killer.
Obviously,
drove his SUV into a parade in Wisconsin.
With the families. With the community. And the alleged defendant's family as well. There's been a lot of suffering.
I watched a little bit of the hearing where he dismissed his attorneys and why the judge, they're back and forth, because I wanted to know, was he competent to stand trial? So as I'm watching that, I believe they were begging him to plead out, to take whatever fucking deal the prosecutors would give him. And he was like, no, I want to go to trial. And they're like, you will lose. You can't go to trial. Take the deal. This is all you've got. That, to me, that's what happened. I feel that is the reason he is representing himself. And he has these ideas of being like a sovereign citizen.
A lot of misunderstanding. And I just want you to keep in mind everything that will be presented in its totality. Keep in mind. The power that you have. I believe that shouldn't escape your knowledge. This has been a long process for everybody.
Well, he's not getting to the point. 1.25. I guess he's trying to humanize himself. If he even knows what he's doing, if this is some sort of a plan, it's to try to humanize himself, I would assume. Let's go time and a half. It's still kind of painful.
When it's time for you to make your decision, all of you, I believe it, and I pray that it's the right decision. That all the factors are weighed.
I was really hoping for him to paint a picture for us, and he did not.
There's been a lot of words thrown out there about the alleged. A lot of speculation, a lot of ridicule.
Buddy, I think we know pretty much what happened.
Words like demon. Words like monster. I know a lot of the time I've been before you see me with this mask on. I've had my reasons for that.
I believe he had COVID.
Now is the time that it's important that you see me.
Okay. So, like, they have a separate room they have to take him to. Because somebody brought up charging him with contempt. Well, they're just trying to get the fucking trial over, right? So they don't, instead, I think he has been charged with contempt. And in lieu of that, they just take him to this other room whenever he gets out of hand and like let him calm down. And sometimes they'll ask him questions via video so they can mute him. It is wild. It is wild. That's why, and I don't mean to laugh at it, because this is people's lives. This is a fucked up situation. Dude, you're fucked up.
For who I am. No mask.
I don't think you're a demon.
I am. I think this is the moment for that.
But like coming in court and crying about clickbait headlines calling you a demon, that ain't it. That ain't it, partner.
Your eyes and ears remain as open as possible. You understand that you alone decide these cases, this matter.
Watch too much Law and Order.
The power is in your hands. All of you. To determine for yourselves what truth is. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That's your opening statement, man. Well, it has been the prosecution took 14 days. Now, here's something else. This whole thing is wild. He's focused on calling 13 witnesses. He wants to call 13 witnesses. I'm telling you, this shit is just weird. The DA had to step up and actually defend the judge, which once again, I think the judge has done a good job.
The testimony of Detective Casey that this video was obtained from the defendant's own Facebook account as well. The court is well aware. There's nothing that...
Hold on, sir. Stop interrupting. We have to make a record of it. You've interrupted multiple times. I've been abundantly patient with you. Again, another interruption. So you need to be quiet and let the state make a record. Stop gesturing at me. Stop rolling your eyes at me. Stop mumbling.
I'm looking right at you. I'm not rolling my eyes.
No, you have throughout. I've seen it and I made note of it.
I'm looking at you. Okay, so are you asking me to be quiet or are you telling me to be quiet?
Go ahead, Attorney Opper.
Thank you, Your Honor. And just to indicate, Your Honor, this court has been abundantly patient with Mr. Brooks. He challenges the court's authority repeatedly. This court absolutely has the ability to tell him, sit down and be quiet. And you haven't done that. And I know why you haven't done that, Your Honor, and we appreciate that. He is not in control of this courtroom. You are. And he needs to respect that. This video was relevant based on his questioning of Detective Casey, as you just indicated, challenging his ability to identify the person who had their back turned to the camera in the still shot of State's Exhibit 175. Trials are fluid. When he opened the door to that, we came up with the video which Detective Casey testified repeatedly on direct examination and cross-examination as to how he knew that was Mr. Brooks because he had seen the rest of the video. He would not accept that. He pushed it and pushed it and pushed it until we played the video. The lyrics of that video probably would have been prejudicial. Originally, I wasn't going to ask for volume. Then I did because he pushed it again, and his voice and his mannerism of speech, I thought, would have assisted the jury in identifying Mr. Brooks as the person in the video with the red SUV. However, you smartly asked me to play it without the audio, and I did that, and then I never went back to that. This is all to the benefit of this defendant who continues to suggest and impugn the integrity of this court and this prosecution without basis.
They're clipping bad.
Like
but also,
the evidence is stacking up.
But also, most of the time, court hearings aren't like this. Like, it's not like Justin debating people on Discord. There's not yelling going on in courtrooms. Usually it's very calm. And the microphones usually have to be really sensitive to pick up because there's lawyers that are just fucking like... So that is why the mics are so sensitive, but they are pissed right now.
Stacking up. And whenever it does, his response is to accuse you, the court, or the prosecutors of being unethical and hiding things. There is nothing in law that prevents me from pulling something out of my briefcase right now and making it an exhibit if it's relevant. You decide what's relevant, what's admissible.
You can pull something out of your magic bag.
There is no law, he can cite to no law, no authority whatsoever that says I can't make an exhibit essentially on the fly if it's called for, and that's exactly what just happened here. So I apologize for my tone with the court. I don't mean to direct this at the court. It is very frustrating. The court has demonstrated much more patience than I have with Mr. Brooks because, again, I do not appreciate his impugning the integrity of these proceedings, of Your Honor's efforts to run a fair trial, and of our efforts to run a fair trial. We have ethical obligations as well to be fair in this courtroom. We have respected that entirely. The reason I was laughing 30 seconds ago was because the exhibit was mislabeled. There was an extra Y and it said Exhibit E, E-X-H-I-B-I-T-Y. And I turned around to the paralegal and pointed that out, and we laughed over it, the word Exhibit E. That was it. There has been no disrespect directed at Mr. Brooks directly in any fashion. So he can object all he wants, and he has made that clear. He will continue to object and obstruct the court and obstruct these proceedings every last chance he gets. But legally, everything has been above board and proper, and this exhibit is no exception. I apologize for my tone, Judge.
Thank you. I appreciate that additional record.
Seriously, she's awesome.
I object to that.
My previous ruling doesn't change in any way that the exhibit is relevant. I indicated I would take it up because, and I'm taking what the state's saying as withdrawing the request to play the lyrics.
That is correct.
All right. I have not heard them, but I'll certainly take the state at its word as an officer of the court that it would be prejudicial based upon the lyrics that are in that video, but my decision to admit the video without audio stands.
That's just a little taste of what's been going on in that trial. I just wanted to check in with it. Those are some of the proceedings today. Yeah, their audio is like red pegging. You're looking at it on a VU meter, it's just red. Totally not me doing that. There was nothing I could do to stop it. Content warning, we're going to have to go to the... I hate having to cover this shit. I mean, they're being insanely patient with him. The judge could totally admonish him far more than what she does. He's incredibly annoying. It was like every single sentence was objection, blah, blah, blah. And he didn't know what he was talking about. Right? So it's just, they're barreling through it. I watched it. It was tedious. It's also tedious having to talk about this kind of shit all the fucking time. So I'm hitting the content warning. Because, like, possible transphobia, bigotry towards the LGBT community in the next few stories. Trying to, lump them all together so that, like, it's not every day we're coming out here with shitty-ass stories. After player injury, Cherokee County schools forfeit all volleyball games against one school. Let's get the lowdown. There's a reason why it's one specific school.
Over player safety leads to a major cancellation in one district's fall sports season. Good evening, I'm Latricia Thomas.
And I'm Haley Rader. Cherokee County School Board says those safety concerns led them to cancel all high school volleyball games against a certain school. And it's leading to a lot of questions from community members.
Jordan Carnback breaks down what we've learned about this move.
This video from Max Preps shows the volleyball matchup between Hiwassee Dam versus Highlands High. Cherokee County School Board member Arnold Matthews says the forceful hit of a spiked ball left one Hiwassee volleyball player with neck and head injuries. Matthews says the Cherokee County Board of Education stepped in and voted to cancel the games of all the county high schools, Murphy, Andrews, and Hiwassee, against Highlands because of, quote, safety concerns. The board never specified what those concerns were.
We came here to the Cherokee County School Board for a scheduled interview with the superintendent, but someone walked out and handed us this statement. Later, the superintendent came back out and told us this.
Primary in our concern is just the health of the student who is injured and the emotional responses of the teams who are not getting to play and all the teams, including Highlands.
She wouldn't give us more details. In Cherokee County, residents have strong opinions about the cancellation.
Canceling all the events for one incident, that it's just not right. It's not right. There's risks There's risks in getting out of bed in the morning. There's risks in going, crossing the street, going to the store. I'm sure the teammate that did get hurt wants him to go out there and fight for it, right?
Exactly.
That's what we do.
Reporting in Cherokee County, Jordan Carnback, News Channel 9.
Man, they really buried the lead on that one. The safety concerns is because the student that spiked the ball was trans. I didn't see video of the actual hit. The decision came after a Hiawassee Dam High School volleyball player got neck and head injuries when the Highlands athlete spiked a ball which forcefully struck the athlete in the head. No mention that it was a trans student. I mean, should we be thankful for that? Now, however, I got here to the original local news hit through a very bigoted story. That's how I found this. So, Meanwhile, parents who seem to get upset over it because the local news hit, man, like the local news hit, like especially the person they asked was like, "Come on, accidents happen. What the hell?" Wow, a high school artist was chosen to paint a mural, and then came the outrage. Do you guys see anything wrong with that mural? Do you want me to make it a little smaller here? Not there. No, that mural. That is fantastic artwork. Does anybody see anything objectionable to this mural? The furry. We don't shave around here. We don't. If I've got any furries in the audience, I love you just as much as I love everybody else. And I'm like, if anybody gives me guff about loving them, I didn't see the vaccine. I didn't even see the vaccine. I don't think that's what they're upset about. There's like 2 of them with vaccines, but they are medical workers. Like they both have the crosses on them. It says stay healthy.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, I'm good. Your dog's a furry. Hold on. I'm bad with names. Like this, your name might be a pun I'm missing or something. Dianthylempinus? Dianthylus? Salinanthropus? Dianthylempinus? Thank you for being a freaking follower. Please tell me if you want to give me it's a flower. That's cool. That is really cool. I'm gonna look it up. Let's look up and find out what kind of a flower it is. Save us from this bigoted story we were doing. Oh, I like its rough edges over here. Those are really pretty. The deep color in the center. Dianthylempinus? Dianthylempinus? Wait a minute, I'm getting deja vu. Have you been here before? Did I do this very thing once before? Why'd you unfollow me? Make me sad. Or did you do it just to fuck with me? Because that's kind of funny to see if I would do the exact same thing again. Do I think life is something worth doing? I mean, I guess. I'm scared to death of dying, so there's got to be a reason for that, right? Life got to be worth doing. Because, like, here's the thing: is like, if life ain't worth it, like, what do you have besides life? Like, I don't believe in anything else. What happens when you die is the same thing. What were you before you got born? It was nothing. Yeah, define worth. I hope I didn't upset you, and thank you for giving me another try to win you over. Why would anyone think there's zero evidence of an afterlife? People that think there's an afterlife are weird to me. And I don't want to be a dick about it, but like it's weird that the default position is theocratic. Not theological. No. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I'm tired. Yeah, but that's not how claims work. You can't say, well, there's zero proof that there's fake. Well, you can claim anything's real then, right? So you can claim, it's called the pink unicorn fallacy. So I can claim there's pink unicorns on Mars. And it's like, you can't disprove it. Well, okay, you say everything that happened was destined to happen. Well, I've had this discussion on the stream before, and I don't believe in free will. Like I took a lot of philosophy classes in college, and it really fucked with my brain. I don't think there's free will, and like the really simple example is like the tuna sandwich sample, and I'm not even gonna go into it right now. You've only got so many, like, you can only react in every situation a specific way based upon all of your traits that you do not have control over. I'm only the summation of a whole bunch of shit that I can't help that I don't like pickles. That is not something I chose. Technically, I could choose to eat a pickle. But I did not choose to just be completely revolted by pickles. So the concept of free will is just kind of mind-boggling. Oh no, I'm not wrapping it up or anything. But we're getting close to the Bubba story. Girl of the Gray, thank you for sticking with us through all of this. Let me re-billboard this. A high school artist was chosen to paint a mural, and then came the outrage. A student said she created the piece to make kids feel welcome. Some parents in Grant, Michigan wanted the painting removed. Wow. You parents go to a school like, let's take this kid's artwork down. It offends us. And I think the hand with the eyeball, like, I think that's a problem for him too. Mural painted by a high school student came under fire when parents alleged it was promoting LGBTQ imagery and witchcraft. Earlier this year, a Grant, Michigan high school sophomore won a contest to brighten up the middle school health center, and it's in the health center. It's in the health center. According to a statement from Grant Public Schools, GPS says the student received approval to paint images of smiling children, as well as the message, "Stay healthy." In the painting, there are 3 children. A boy is seen in a light blue, pink, and white t-shirt, the colors of the transgender pride flag. A girl wears pink, royal blue, and purple, and the colors of the bisexual flag. And a second girl is in rainbow pride colors. GPS Superintendent Brett Zuvner was a contest judge. He did not respond to an email asking if he understood the meaning of the colors when the student's design was chosen as the winner. GPS said the final mural included some features that were not part of the agreement, including a demon face inspired by a popular video game called Genshin Impact, and a Hamza hand, also known as the Hand of Fatima or Hand of Mary. The palm-shaped design has been a symbol of good luck or protection for centuries in many cultures, including Latin America. A school board meeting on October 10th, parents accused the student artist of promoting room witchcraft by including the Hamza hand as well as the video game character. Do we have a local news hit?
And we begin tonight with the controversial painting by a Grant High School student. It's on a wall in the middle school
Beautiful
building.
painting, by the way.
Some parents complained to the school board about its messages.
Lump, good evening.
Nate Belt was at tonight's meeting and has details.
I put my art up there to make people feel welcomed.
That's how Grant High School student Evelyn Gonzalez describes this mural. She painted it inside the middle school's Teen Health Center, and parents are concerned about some of its content.
Now this here is the mural in question that was a hot topic tonight at the school board meeting here at Grant Middle School. Now some of the things that the parents were closely paying attention to included the trans flag on this t-shirt here, this symbol which the artist says comes from a video game, as well as this symbol here which she says is a Hispanic sign of protection.
I feel like she did a really good job finding excuses to defend the things she put on. None of us are that stupid.
Wow. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, ma'am.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Fucking idiots.
Stupid.
Parents alleged the video game character is actually a depiction of Satan and that the hand symbol is demonic, with several even using the word witchcraft to describe it.
That's not what I'm a part of, and that's not what I'm trying to put out there.
As for the transgender flag, one parent implied it's a sickness.
When adults pretend things that are like real life, it's a mental illness. We need counselors. We need the medication that's going to help bipolar disorder, fix their brains.
With another saying it's discriminatory against Christian beliefs.
We and our administration should embrace that and get all of this hate material out of our schools, because it is hate material.
Not everybody was opposed to the mural. One parent was.
This is the dude with the fascist-looking shirt.
I am a conservative, right-wing gun.
Of course you are. Of course you are. The dude's like, let's get the hate symbols out of our schools, or whatever the fuck he said, and he's wearing a very fascist-looking shirt.
Against Christian beliefs.
We and our administration should embrace that and get all of this hate material out of our schools, because it is hate material.
Not everybody was opposed to the mural. One parent was appalled by some of the words used.
I am a conservative, right-wing, gun-loving American, but I have never seen more bigoted people in my life.
Oh, good on her.
Acceptance in her community.
We have an array of people in this little town, and I'll be the first one to support our Christian families, but we're not the only ones here.
A student and friend of the artists who described themselves as queer says they were bullied throughout middle school and into high school. They say the mural makes them feel included.
Maybe you should be more concerned with your children's behaviors instead of what art is on the wall.
While some parents called for the mural to be removed or altered, Grant Public Schools' handbook includes a non-discriminatory policy, saying in part, any form of discrimination or harassment can be devastating to an individual's academic progress, social relationship, and or personal sense of self-worth. No decision was made on the future of the mural at Monday's meeting. In Grant, Nate Belt, 13 on your side.
In Panda News. Well, I hope Panda News. Oh, man. Don't distract me. I would totally watch Panda News. I would totally watch If you think art is brainwashing, like, seriously, shut the fuck up. Fuck. Oh. Brainwash others. Do you know what I would call brainwashing others? Religion. Motherfucker. What the hell is wrong with people? Ted Cruz. What the hell is wrong with Ted Cruz? Ted Cruz shared the name of a trans preschool teacher on Twitter to his 5.3 million followers. The Republican senator has been roundly criticized for potentially exposing a private citizen to anti-LGBTQ harassment and violence because, of course, he had. Texas Senator Ted Cruz is one of several right-wing figures who invaded the privacy of a pregnant preschool teacher by exposing his name on social media. Oh, it's one of those men can get pregnant, it proves us wrong, so like we're gonna get all angry at him. Earlier this week, Cruz quote tweeted a tweet from conservative activist Phil Kerpen that included screenshots of an email from a Washington, D.C. preschool outlining how parents should discuss a trans teacher's pregnancy with students. Kerpen, who has over 100,000 followers on the platform, included screenshots that mentioned both the name and the school and the teacher. The email reportedly framed the teacher's pregnancy in positive terms and advised parents of kids who may have associations with pregnancy and a certain gender. Only girls, moms can have babies, to echo the teacher's own language around his pregnancy. Some boys have bodies that can have babies, and I have that kind of body that can have a baby. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? It's so simple. The school also reportedly offered other resources to help facilitate discussions of transgender people, gender identity, and pregnancy with preschool-aged children. Cruz retweeted Kerpen's post, exposing the teacher's name to his 5.3 million followers with the caption, "Not satire." Kerpen's tweet has been deleted, but right-wing media outlets like the Washington Examiner and the Citizens Free Press and Sinclair broadcast groups The National Desk seized on the story, further exposing the teacher's name. Cruz's tweet, which does not include the name of the teacher or the school, remains up. The senator has been roundly criticized for exposing a private citizen to potential anti-LGBTQ harassment and violence. I'm so glad an American politician took out time out of their day to single out an American citizen who's done nothing wrong. Great job, Ted. You are a horrible person. One of the tweet replies said, "Sir, you are a sitting U.S. senator. You need to behave with the decorum that title demands rather than putting individual citizens in danger for some base points in an imaginary culture war. This is beneath the office you hold. Shame on you. These are real people with families." All y'all pro-life folks are really mad about this happy, healthy pregnancy. Boom. Right-wingers are absolute morons. Let me give you another example of stupidity and their weird obsession with NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace. So, I just want to point out how many times the Daily Wire has posted about this. This was 2 days ago when I saved this video. I know they posted about it yesterday because I commented on a group about it. I guarantee you they posted about Bubba. What in the fuck? I don't have time for it right now. I guarantee you they posted about Bubba Wallace earlier today. How far do we have to go back before we see it? Maybe they moved on to football. Meghan Markle plays victim. It is nothing but culture war nonsense, and we're only 3 hours back, by the way. If you think like, oh, they're gonna prove him wrong, they didn't post about Bubba Wallace today. Oh no, yes they did. Yes, they certainly did. I assure you. Kevin Spacey found not guilty. It's kind of wild to me. Yeah, I wanted to go back and see the daycare worker with the screen mask too, but we're on a mission. We're on a mission to find a Bubba Wallace story. And for those of you listening to the podcast, we're only 7 hours back. And I would like, seriously, they post so fucking much. That looked like a Bigfoot. I mean, what should I do if I'm wrong about this? They didn't post about Bubba Wallace today. We're 10 hours back. We got some AOC hate though. I really flopped on this one. The Daily Wire let me down. Was it National Pronoun Day or something? Because that's what I think that said. We're still just 13 hours back though. Something about Axel and Carrie Underwood. God, that story's old as fuck, and they're still posting about that. 15 hours ago. I'm surprised it was 15 hours ago. So it was today. I'm surprised it took me that long to get back to it. Here is... this isn't even one of their big name commentators talking about this shit. It's some girl I don't know the name of. We'll give her a try, though.
NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace erupted into a fit of rage during a race on Sunday after he caused a fellow driver to crash and then attacked him. The incident happened during Stage 2 of the South Point 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway when Wallace, who won Stage 1, was next to driver Kyle Larson when Larson attempted to pass him. Larson moved up the track and his car gave a slight tap to Wallace's car, causing Wallace's car to brush up against the wall. After high-fiving the wall a little bit, Wallace bounced into Larson's car and then continued by tracking Larson's car down the speedway and slamming into the rear of his car, causing both cars to spin out. Multiple reports said the move by Wallace to spin out Larson's car appeared to be intentional. NASCAR could penalize Wallace if they believed that his actions were deliberate. After both cars came to a stop, Wallace got out of his car.
Just normal shit. This is NASCAR. This is what people love about NASCAR.
Larson tried to get away from Wallace, and the physical.
The Daily Wire has made this a whole fucking thing.
Fans got a good look at the fight too. Videos of his tantrum went viral, with social media users calling Wallace a bully and a clown. Larson responded to the incident by saying that Wallace's aggression was not surprising. He said he knew Wallace was going to retaliate.
Yeah, I mean, he got to my right front and it got him tightened into the wall and knew he was going to retaliate. So, like I said, I mean, he had a reason to be mad, but
yes, totally typical in NASCAR.
Until, he retaliated.
When asked if it was appropriate for Wallace to retaliate at that speed, Larson said no, as he pointed to the severity of injuries that could happen.
Is retaliation, Kyle, at that speed an acceptable thing?
I think with everything that's been going on here, head injuries and all that.
Not quite 200 miles an hour. They're probably doing like 180, 185.
It's probably the right thing to do.
Larson is right. They're driving hundreds of miles per hour. Intentional retaliation is nothing to take lightly.
They get like 210 at Talladega and Daytona.
View of the incident. He said that most drivers have lost their cool and retaliated during races. It's nothing new. However, when Wallace was interviewed by the same person on camera, he took no responsibility for his actions and actually got snippy with the interviewer. The interviewer pointed out that Cliff Daniels, one of the top NASCAR crew chiefs, said that Wallace's actions amounted to intentional retaliation. Wallace disagrees.
What happened? Cliff Daniels said if that wasn't retaliation, I don't know what was. Was it intentional retaliation on your behalf?
Clint's smart enough to know how easy these cars break, so when you get shoved into the fence like deliberately like he did, trying to force me to lift, the steering was gone, so just so happened to be there.
He just so happened to be there? If you say so, Bubba.
I'm watching you.
He wanted, he's claiming that, which is perfectly reasonable, that the steering column had gone out on him from the hit in the where he went up against the wall, where Larson admitted he knocked him into the wall. Yeah, this is just normal NASCAR stuff. Daily Wire is making a whole big ordeal out of absolutely nothing. And What does this young lady know about NASCAR? Maybe she's a huge fan. I don't know. They are in Nashville now.
The blame to Larson, saying that he shouldn't have tried to pass him like that in the first place. The interviewer then asked Wallace if retaliation is acceptable, and him and the interviewer got into a bit of an argument.
When situations like this happen, Bubba, at this speed,
I wouldn't know about it. I wouldn't know about it if it wasn't for
I'm not fishing, I'm
the
just
Daily
asking
Wire.
you.
Wallace is facing a potential suspension here, and people are calling for Wallace's top sponsor, McDonald's, to reconsider their sponsorship with him. And Wallace's outburst has sparked calls for him to face criminal charges. Criminal charges. Not a garage door handle scared me crime, but a real crime.
Ooh, yep, that's what they're upset about.
The last time I was here for taking off my mask, but
what? Here's a school board meeting. Oh, it's Dan Bongino. I thought I played Dan Bongino over here. This is my personal Facebook. I didn't expect it. I didn't realize I was signed in on the Google over here. My God, that's laughable. That's absolutely laughable. I wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for them. They brought it on us. Since we're on the sports, I want to point out this dude who is being a stand-up guy. This is Steph Curry. I don't know anything about the sporty ball. I believe he's one of the best players in the league, or at least like one of the best shooters. I think this is one of the playoff games. It's very high profile. And he's giving a shout out to Brittany Griner on her birthday.
And the opportunity to shout out a very special member of the basketball community. Brittany Griner's birthday is today. She's 32 years old. We want to continue to let her name be known, and we pray that it's been 243 days since she's been wrongfully incarcerated in Russia, and we hope that she comes home soon and everybody's doing their part to get her home. And the
Mox is like, he's decent. So he's not one of the best players in the league. I've been led to believe this. They're not like one of the best teams. They're not on their way to win another championship or some shit. I don't know anything about basketball. I'm asking you guys. I like that shit that Bubba Wallace did. Like that's what NASCAR made a name over. Now, there are discrepancies in different tracks. Like they were at Las Vegas, is what they call an intermediate track. It's like 1.5 miles. They're only going about 180. 185. Once their tires wear down and shit, they're probably like 170 something or 172, 73, somewhere in that fucking range, right? You go to a smaller track like a Bristol, a Martinsville or something, you're only going like 120 miles an hour. Only 120 miles an hour. Only 110 miles an hour. So those tracks were known more for the bumping and grinding and shit and bumping people up into the wall. They fucking covered Bristol in dirt. I'd love to go to that. I'd love to go to a race at the Bristol track with covered in fucking dirt. I don't think the drivers like it very much, but I think it was a success in terms of getting people to the track. Oh God, yeah, those tracks are insanely sloped. Yeah, that's what, like, you know, that's taking racing back to its roots. Racing, I even said racing, not racing. Racing is like Formula 1 and shit. Racing, that's NASCAR. This is a complete different sport. Racing, you got your open wheels and your shit like that. You got some drag racing. I got some hair in my mouth. You got drag racing too. I mean, like, I'd say some people that participate in drag racing also call it racing. You down at the dirt track on a Saturday night, you're doing racing. Oh shit. So he is legitimately the best shooter. That's what I thought. It would seem Kanye's apologized for being Kanye. Exclusive interview given to Piers Morgan. I think it was yesterday. I think it dropped yesterday. I actually had it on the list, but like somehow it got like on the other page and I didn't see it last night. So, which also like last night was wild enough as it was. I haven't kept up with racing like the last 10 years. I don't know if they started using restrictor plates at the smaller tracks. They were using restrictor because they were going like 230 at Talladega and then flipping over the fucking like wall of the track and shit. They had to put restrictor plates on them to keep them at like, you know, like 200, 210. You can't apologize for being yourself. You're not going to change. That is exactly right clinically. Also, Sassy, I don't know if I said hey to you, but I'm so glad you're here tonight. He's apologizing because several of his interviews got yanked from YouTube. He's getting canceled. Also, he looks like he's been out working with Jimmy Carter building some houses, but I guarantee you that's not the case. And you probably buy that fucking Carhartt ripoff type jacket off of his fucking site for like what, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, if not more. Fuck you, Kanye.
Accountability to my pain. You're being a Karen.
I'm talking
you
about.
I'm not a Karen to the pain.
I'm not a Karen, and I'm not going to cancel you, and I'm not.
Okay, I'm here for this. This makes me sit up. All right, yay. This is a 5-minute preview of the whole interview. Piers Morgan is good at dropping little teases.
You don't hold accountability to my pain. You're being a Karen.
I'm talking
about.
I'm not a Karen
to the pain.
I'm not a Karen, and I'm not going to cancel you, and I'm not going to uncensor you. I'm simply going to challenge you on what you're saying.
You can't.
I think you don't understand the pain that you've been causing with some of these comments, and I think that one in particular, I can understand.
Oh my God! God forbid! God forbid! One comment could cause people to feel any of the pain that my people have went through for years. Even like the blacks being ushered to the left during the civil rights movement.
This ain't no apology.
Why does he? Okay, why does
no?
All right.
No one is.
Let me say, I agree that the racism against black people has been utterly deplorable, shameful, unacceptable, and thank God the world is beginning to move to a better place about the way it is treated. Black people like you. However, one form of racism doesn't justify.
It's almost in a better place.
Well, one form of racism doesn't justify another.
It's not a better place.
I'm not cutting you off. I'm finishing my sentence so you can respond. One form of racism. It is racism when you say I'm going DEFCON for Jewish people.
I was in a position where I've been hurt, and this is the way I had the right to express myself. The point of this interview is for you to question me and then for me to answer and say, okay, even though the same rules are not applied to my people, if a person with a gun or drugs is pulled over and has 3 other people in the car, they're all going to jail. I'm not going to apply that to Jewish people for the sake of this conversation. Isn't that what you wanted? But you know what you did? You tried to civil rights me. You tried to pull me back to a week ago, but we're here today. There's been plenty of conversations and commentary since that, but you want me to go back to 1960.
No.
You want me to go back to 7 days ago.
All right, let me jump in. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to reflect.
Okay, so have we grown? Have we grown?
Here's how we grow. Yeah, here's how we grow. I want you to reflect.
No, have we grown? Have we grown? You're not in charge of my growth. You're not in charge of my growth, Chris.
Okay, let me phrase it like this. I'm about to suggest to you how you may grow if you choose to grow this way. And you can ignore me. You can ignore me.
Pierce, how much money are you worth?
Not as much as you, sadly.
Exactly. So take my advice. Maybe
sadly.
I would love to take your business advice.
Why would I listen to you?
Why do you hear what my advice is and then work out if I'm wrong? Can we do that deal?
Well, the thing is, you haven't given me any credit or a moment of reflection for the comparison that I made, the brilliant, if I do say so myself, comparison that I made to the cops pulling over one black person and locking everyone up.
I understand what you're saying.
And my tweet having issues. Wait a second, I wasn't done with the sentence. My tweet referring to all Jewish people, and I said, for the sake of this conversation, I will refer to the business people who have destroyed me and my people and my fellow creatives. But you didn't even accept that I gave you that. You tried to push me back.
I can't get over the fact that, like, this is his fashion brand. You guys know that, like, he's up here bragging about how much money he's got. He is wearing a jacket that looks like a guy went out and, like, fucking, I don't want to say he even looks like he worked all day. It looks like somebody that was, like, the helper on the work site, right? They got a little dusty here and there. He is selling it to look like it has been worn on, like, a job site or something. That's his fashion brand. Remember, we watched a clip from his fashion show, and he was walking through the mud.
Into 1960,
No, I
you
didn't.
tried to push me back into last week.
No, I didn't.
Okay,
I
do you accept that example that I gave you?
I understand completely the example you gave me. I think all racism is wrong.
So I feel that we've grown.
I would like you to reflect.
I feel we've grown. Do you feel we've grown?
If you've now changed what you wanted to say originally, my question for you is, do you now regret saying
I update
DEFCON
every
3
day.
on Jewish
I update-
people? Are you sorry you said that?
No.
I think it matters. You should be.
Absolutely not. You know, I will say I'm sorry for the people that I hurt with the DEFCON, the confusion that I call. I feel like I cause hurt and confusion. And I'm sorry for the families of the people that had nothing to do with the trauma that I had been through, and that I use my platform where you say hurt people. And I was hurt.
It's an uncensored interview. You said something which you've now wished you hadn't said. And
Is that a real saying? I thought that was a Lucille Bluth thing. I thought that was a joke. Am I wrong? Was that some kind of real saying?
you said that.
No.
I think it matters. You should be.
Absolutely not. You know, I will say I'm sorry for the people that I hurt with the DEFCON, the confusion that I call. I feel like I cause hurt and confusion. And I'm sorry for the families of the people that had nothing to do with the trauma that I had been through, and that I use my platform where you say hurt people. And I was hurt.
It's an uncensored interview. You said something which you've now wished you hadn't said, and you've apologized. I actually said...
Maybe you don't want to get hurt because, as I say, hurt people hurt people.
Oh, that's nice. I always say make people cry, but yours includes the people who don't want to give you the satisfaction.
Tobias decided to...
Okay, well, no. Okay, so the hurt people was actually advice that Tobias was given. And then Lucille adopted it because it included more people. Oh. Okay, so he's heard that at therapy or something.
Where you say hurt people. And I was hurt.
It's an uncensored interview. You said something which you've now wished you hadn't said, and you've apologized.
Yes.
I actually think that says a lot about you. Right? That shows you've got that ability to be self-aware, to understand when you cross a line. I think someone like you, with all your energy and creativity and your passion, you're going to say stuff. The way that you talk constantly and in such an extraordinary manner, you're going to...
You shouldn't talk constantly.
I don't think there's anything wrong in when you do that, doing what you just did and saying, look, I'm sorry, I crossed a line, I apologize.
I want to say that it's wrong to hold an apology hostage, and I got to let go of that. And free myself of the trauma.
He gave an apology.
Say, look,
He
I'm
gave
just
one of
gonna
his non-apology
give it all up to
apologies.
God right now, and say to those families that I hurt, I really want to give you guys a big hug, and I say I'm sorry for hurting you with my comments, and I want to word it in not in like a political way, but
he froze. Like his video froze, not me.
What I knew a president to be when I was growing up.
What, a president? How did the president get brought in?
Sorry for hurting you with my comments. And I want to word it in not in like a political way, but in a presidential way, which means what I knew a president to be when I was growing up.
What does that mean? the fairy tale romanticized version of U.S. history. The George Washington chopping down cherry trees and had wooden teeth myth. Is that what you're talking about, Kanye? Because that ain't real. That ain't real life. You want to live in a fairy tale. You guys know about Stevie the Wonder Dog? You guys know about Stevie the Wonder Dog? He got a little neurological thing going on, but like other than that, he's perfectly healthy, perfectly happy. I can't make him big. Fucking Facebook Reels. None of these. I hate Reels and TikToks and yeah, none of them ever work right. They aren't good for content creators like me. But Stevie the Wonder Dog is a fantastic follow. He moves a little funny, and watching him playing puddles and shit is fun. So watch Stevie playing puddles. Tell lies occasionally. There is one author who I believe wrote a book about how George Washington was way closer to like a Trump-like figure than people would like to think. Oh, God, and that's a callback to yesterday. Yeah, Dustin, brain-eating amoeba are in the shallow, warm water. Nothing happens to our boy Stevie. Because he's a good boy. I'm going to be taking tomorrow night off. Originally, I was going to have Ninetales Cosmic Fox on, and I was very excited about that, but I need to take a break. We're skipping out on a freak show tomorrow night, but the next week is going to be the Media Winch for the Halloween episode, and then the week after will be Ninetales Cosmic Fox. It is Thursday right now, right? I am like signing off for a little bit. I think, or is it Wednesday? God, I'm confused. It's Thursday. It's one of those days. Is it time for the Colts and Satanic Panic yet? No, it doesn't look like Echoplex is on yet. Must be an hour from now. Fucking Rob Noah is on. I can't. The urge to troll is great. Can't do it. If you're watching on Twitch, we're gonna go say hey to Time for Tinfoil. Where the fuck are they? Oh. No, I bet that's what. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. Oh, you redeemed a weed? I don't even think my bong's packed. I think I pack a new one. I'm sorry, clinically. I'll get you next time. I'll take a big rip for you here in just a second. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin FREAKIN. We'll see you Sunday night on the Troll Patrol live.